There's no better way to start the new year than by starting off with the first ever swim or sink of 2024. Right, I had to remember my numbers because I was about to say 2021 for some reason, which is actually a little bit off. But you know what's not off? All the matches we've got lined up for you. I'm Nito, and I'm going to be joined by Shad today, who is probably more knowledgeable on numbers than me.
Am I?
What year is it?
2024, you just said it.
Okay, see, you got it the first time. I nearly said 2021. So I think I'm going to hand it over to you in terms of for all the number stuff.
Well, numbers-wise, we are currently sitting at a cool 0-0. Jelly Squids versus Event Horizon. Very close match. Yeah, we've seen lots of, not a lot of action. They've just kind of been sitting in spawn for the past, check notes, 15 minutes. But they'll get there, eventually.
It's fine. It's a little bit of stage fright, I'm assuming, because again, this is the first SOS of the year. We don't quite know what to expect yet, and there's still some history between these teams. I know Jelly Squids has been around since the dawn of time. Event Horizon, though, is a gravity pickup. So it's most of gravity, and you've got Karma coming in as an extra player, and we're gonna see how these rosters come to fruition as we get y'all to the first match of 2024 and the first swimmer sink of 2024.
Yeah, so we do see a backline battle will be taking place here on Art Academy. Both sides running a heavy blast weapon in Event Horizon. Tim's going to be on that edit, which of course comes with Core. It's very powerful sub weapon. Special weapon still in the meta. Meanwhile, on the side of Event Horizon, not Event Horizon, Jelly Squids, sorry, has the Hydra wielded by Mark, and Jelly Squid is currently 2 down. Event Horizon touching that tower fast, the first checkpoint very quickly.
Look at Event Horizon. They've been doing very well during this opening segment here. About a minute into the match, and they've already cruising towards the third checkpoint, almost unopposed. They've been running it up against Jelly Squids. Jelly Squids has yet to find that response. Consider it a warm-up, consider it whatever you will. They're up to 13 remaining, and they could just get the win from here if they get themselves even closer. NATO, they're just able to sneak by. Karma, they're able to put the stop to that, and the Booyah Bomb able to put the stop to Karma as well. Up to 9 points remaining. That push might end here unless they have anything to say about it. That tower is still moving towards the final checkpoint as Muddy tries to make something happen. They're getting into the tower. A last-ditch effort there. Not enough as Event Horizon takes the first game.
Yeah, very quick knockout. Textbooking fought Art Academy game. We love to see stuff like that.
I mean, the good news is that we haven't gone to. I don't think there's any counter picks in the group stage, which I mean there isn't, but the good news is that we don't have to see it as a counter pick. In fact, it's the first map mode, so we can just move on from that and just kind of scoot along as we head to game 2 on Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market.
Oh, Hagglefish Market. What are you thinking, Nito? Do we love this map? Do we hate this map?
Let me tell you what. It certainly is one of the maps ever. I mean, I know that's not the best advice I can give anyone, but judging from what I saw from Event Horizon's comp, there's a lot of paint they're putting down, especially with having that heavy edit, the dualies, and that one shooter weapon. I can't quite put my finger down on what it was, but it was a lot of paint on their end, and with a map like Hagglefish Market, there's a lot of turf for you to paint, so we're going to expect to see them put that into good use. I think they keep the heavy edit here just because that cooler is going to give them a lot of movement and a lot of room to spread themselves out, let them be a little bit more aggressive there.
Probably. It's honestly a very good special weapon in the meta right now. You're not really going to find much better use for it than sticking it on the back line. Maybe putting on a support weapon too, but it's definitely is one of the reasons why you see Pencil being another potentially strong backline that you could pick here in terms of shooter weapons that you'd want to run on the front lines. Crab still could find some use here. You set up on the tent, you're a little bit exposed, but also gives you great coverage over mid. Of course, the ever-present Trizuka is going to do a lot of damage here as well.
My New Year's resolution was to play less Trizuka, and I'm doing so well so far within these first 3 days. We'll see how these teams are showing up and following that New Year's resolution, and immediately we see one violating that resolution as they bring out the vanilla splatter shot. That's going to be followed up with actually the same comp they brought out last time. Jelly Squids doing the same. Actually, in fact, we see the on and parries on. I never actually figured out how to pronounce that since Splatoon 2, which as a commentator, not doing a good job already.
Yeah, Muddy on those end parries with the curling bomb and a triple splashdown. It has, of course, been buffed a little bit since it's in the game now. Even if you die, you can still get a little bit of use out of it. Is that enough to make it a good special? Well, that's debatable. 2 down on the side of, it looks like Event Horizons. Jelly Squids is going to take the zone all the way down to about, looks like low 80s before it gets neutralized by Event Horizons very quickly.
For a second there, it seemed like Event Horizon was all over the map. You saw the duelies coming in from the right side of your screen. Then on the top, you'll see 2 players going around. It looks like what Event Horizon's trying to do here is scatter themselves because they know they can take these fights. You're going to see Rush here try to get a one-up on NATO. NATO, they're trying to use the Zipcaster. 1, to get away, and 2, to make sure you can get themselves in a better position for that fight. NATO having to jump out as that expires. Actually, 2 players down from both sides. 3 players down now for Event Horizon. Jelly Squids takes control of the zone. But we'll see how Event Horizon does here and see if they can keep that same strategy or they'll opt to go for a more conservative effort here, as Jelly Squids seems to be setting up quite well looking at their positioning here.
Yeah, they're in a really strong position right now. Oh, yes, Event Horizon does have the lead, but they're going to quickly flip that lead back in favor of Jelly Squid. And Jelly's going to be charging up another bubbler, which is great for putting a position and for their teammates to safely jump into. Mark hanging out on the back end of the zone. We do see that Event Horizons has brought out the cooler. 1 down on each side of the field. Can Mark find anyone? Doesn't quite manage to get to dualies, but they are pretty weak. And 1 special on the line for Jelly Squids. That's Booyah Bomb is going to do a lot of delaying and preventing Event Horizons from getting back in. But doesn't manage to find anyone.
Rain there on the top of your screen earlier, able to take down that Hydra. This is what I saw earlier. They're just letting their players take as many fights as they want. They know these players are able to take these fights well. They do so well mechanically, making them very dangerous when it comes to these 1v1s. Jelly Squids now still trying to find their way back in. They did get up to the lead while they held the zone, but that lead is getting closer to danger zone here. They go to 35 points remaining. Event Horizon still holding on strong. Jelly Squids has yet to find a response. 25 points remaining. Event Horizon takes the lead, but Jelly Squids can't retake the zone here. Give themselves 1 more shot. Oh, it's all collateral there from the Trizuka Korean. Gets all the credit for that as they go 3 players down. This should be the end of the game as Event Horizon takes it 2-0.
Really great Trizuka shot there. Few things in this game are as satisfying as a collateral.
It's just like playing an old shooter game. They called it the Call to Duty, or the Call of Modern Warfare, or the Black Call of Duty, or the Black Ops. Great, these games are awesome, but Splatoon right now is even awesomer. And so far, it's still a play all 3, so we've got 1 more game for y'all.
Rainmaker Crab Leg. Fun map. Love this map. One of the best things to do on this map, in my opinion. Very funny. You go underneath the grates right when you're trying to get the Rainmaker to the pedestal, and use stick try strikes on the ground underneath it, so that way they don't really see the whole indicator. They don't look at their feet.
Exactly, and that's the one important part I like to talk about with Crab Leg Capital. With those grades, it does offer you a quicker way towards that first checkpoint, but do you really want to take it? That puts you in so much danger, especially if you're carrying the Rainmaker. There's just not much for you to defend yourself with, and it looks like with Jelly Squids, that might just be something they need, because again, Event Horizon is running around the map. They know how to take these fights, exactly how to draw their attention away, so we'll see how Jelly Squids plays around this.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't expect them to really change their comp. That's pretty much the standard comp that Jelly Squid seems to run. They usually have a brush, they've got some sort of dualies, and Mark might swap to a slightly faster backline just because it's Rainmaker. But even then, that's not a guarantee. I mean, it's better to use something that you're familiar with than you're not as comfortable with, but might be quote-unquote better for a mode.
Speaking of which, the comps are rolling in. You're right on that call. Mark going out with the vanilla heavy Splatling. Muddy actually pulling out the Splattershot Pro. And Event Horizon is going to stick with what they've been running so far. One player down now from Jelly Squids as Event Horizon moves in slowly but surely. Rush there has the dualies, and that gives them just a slight advantage. They have that roll towards the grate, so they still have a movement option as Tim cruises straight to the first checkpoint. 61 points remaining. They break through the checkpoint. They have 3 players ready. 1 player going down on Jelly Squids, actually on both teams now, is Karma able to make another trade there, but Angelic trying to prove to be a little threatening. They've gone past checkpoint 1, but Jelly Squids proves to be a bit more on the defensive side this time.
Yeah, Nato's in a good position to help defend, and Mark is going to come and help them. Even though Jelly Squids is 2 down, they can totally hold that there. And Nato is going to get that Rainmaker, manages to pick them before they can make the jump across. But one member of Event Horizon is going to pick it up quick soon after. Karma's going for the flank, see if they can get behind him. I don't think they know that Karma's there yet. They know now, of course, because of that Fizzy Bomb. And Bubble is going to be orange very, very quickly. Karma gets a direct on Angela. Not able to get a kill there. And then a double team is going to take out the flank. Mark is going to pick up that Rainmaker. Smart. 2 down on the side of Event Horizons. But Karma is rushing that Rainmaker. Somehow still alive, manages to pick them. No, manages to pick the NZAP. Mark dying to looks like Muddy over there got that pick.
Karma does so well with these flanks, and so well, again, drawing that attention because Karma has just a bit more range than, say, the dualies or the V-shot on the side of Event Horizon. So Karma has just a bit more room to stretch out those sloshing machine shots. And then here comes Rush trying to take the Rainmaker, able to pop it. We're going to see what they do from here. Noting their position and noting how well Event Horizon's been able to do so far and how dominant their performance has been. They almost, and you can almost see it right now, they don't have a sense of urgency. They don't have to push it as fast, but just getting it into enemy territory and just taking some time with that Rainmaker to make sure they don't have that, make sure Jelly Squids doesn't have enough time with the Rainmaker as we go down to the halfway point of the match. 2 players going down on the side of Event Horizon as NATO, Muddy, and Angelic trying to get a pop. Karma trying to make a deep play there. Gets shut down very quickly by Jelly Squids. Both teams now 2 players, actually 1 player down.
Rush does manage to pick NATO, but not managed to stay alive with the other 2 shooting at him. Karma's going to go after the Rainmaker. Doesn't manage to get them, but also is still staying alive. Manages to get the pick on the NZAP. Very good there. Jelly Squids will not have cooler. Where the backline gets taken out on Event Horizon very, very, very quickly. Looks like Mark's going to try and go for this Inkling push. Kind of a risk. There's a Duca. Yeah, he's going to have to back off there.
And back off. He has no choice to do so. He goes down to that spot, Uli's actually. Rush now popping the Crab. Event Horizon back in control as we have less than 2 minutes left on the clock here. Tim opting to pick up the Rainmaker. Notice on the left side of that screen, 2 players going around with Event Horizon. Rush defending the Rainmaker. And here comes NATO. Watch for NATO right below Tim. Able to get the pick there. 2 players going down on Event Horizon. NATO there proving to be the key factor in stopping Event Horizon from going any further. but Event Horizon still holding on so far to what a dominant push they have and what a dominant effort they've been playing all set.
Yeah, Angelic chooses to let Tim escape and goes for the trade on the dualies, which will do a lot more damage in the short term for Event Horizon. Mark is going to go for that service checkpoint, not quite able to get it, and that is a full wipe on the side of Jelly Squids.
Jelly Squid's in a lot of trouble now, as if they weren't all game. But Event Horizon's just been doing so well. Notice the effort here from Korean, from Karma, and from Rush, and just making sure they can keep Jelly Squids on their toes, making sure they can get at least one pick in every engagement they get. That's what's been stopping Jelly Squids. They haven't gotten until now. Haven't gotten those 4 players, I think, past the middle point of the map until now, where they've gone up to 66 remaining, their biggest push of the game so far. But Rush able to quickly shut that Rainmaker down. 3 players down now on Jelly Squids. Event Horizon picks up the Rainmaker yet again. They know they don't have to push as far, which is why you're going to see Tim trying to stall right at the top there, stall right at the bottom of that ditch. Karma goes down. NATO has an opportunity to get a few picks in. Tim looking to be in a little bit of trouble as they have to face Muddy and Angelic. Mark in the back there giving some assistance. The Rainmaker goes down. Jelly Squids has one more opportunity to pop the Rainmaker if they can pop it in time. 3 players going down now. NATO in a bit more trouble as they have to face Karma there again in the sloshing machine, and they go down. Event Horizon winning 3-0.
Yeah, that is one of the best places you can hold the Rainmaker on the map, just because it's such a horrible position for the enemy team to grab it from.
Well, that's a very quick effort there by Event Horizon, making sure we can get things started. And what a way to get things started in the first SOS of the year. Great job here from Event Horizon, keeping things very dominant against Jelly Squids. I think it's been what I've been talking about all game, just how well they've been able to distract and keep their attention away.
Oh, their team play is absolutely incredible. You saw several times on that map in particular where 1 or 2 members of Horizon would go around the left-hand flank or the right-hand flank, the opposite direction that the Rainmaker was going in. And a lot of people don't do that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the key features to this, is making sure you can use that left pedestal to get yourself sneaking in. And speaking of sneaking things in, we're gonna sneak ourselves a little break as we get things ready for round 2. This has been a great set. We're getting ready for another great set, so don't change the channel. We'll be right back. Well, we started with round 1. You wouldn't believe what comes after round 1. The answer might shock you. It's round 2 of Swimmer Sync 133. Again, the first of the year, and I'm Nito, here to take you the rest of the way, along with Shads. And actually, no, this is the lowest amount of members I've seen on any roster. So these four are going to stick together on each team. I like that. I like that now.
You mean it's possible to have a roster of only 4 people on it? Can't relate.
Could not be me. I tried 1v4ing teams, but it just doesn't work out every time. It seems like I keep getting wiped.
And on the other hand, if you have 8 people on your roster, every night's a scrim against yourself.
Woohoo!
Yes, we have Glyph versus Crescent Knight. I'll be honest, I don't know anybody on either of these teams.
Luckily, I've got my handy dandy notebook here to give you a little bit of background on them. We've got Glyph on one corner. They're the new Div 3 team, or at least from their tweet, they said, we think. So we'll find out today. But they did get 7th in the SAC finals back in December, so they've definitely got a few results on their name. Crescent Knight is not the Blowing December 2022 winners. I had to double check that because currently now there's 2 Crescent Knights, but I do see them winning Blowing at some point later on, and we'll see if that skill comes onto the stream as we get things started with round 1 Clan Blitz on Manta Maria. That's going to be Glyph in the teal, and we're going to see Crescent Knight in the That's a nice carbon roller there. Good way to start things off.
We love carbon rollers. The assassin of Splatoon 2, returning in the Splatoon 3, of course, with the Trizuka and the Burst Bomb. It's such a great kit for that weapon. We also see, of course, another Trizuka in the hands of that Hero Shot cooler, and then everybody's favorite machine. Meanwhile, on the side of Glyph, we see our first charger of the night, which would be that Splatter Scope, it looks like. Interesting pick. Comes, of course, with the ink back, and they're playing pretty aggressively, sitting down on the ground there. They have a blaster, and then also an NZAP and a machine to round out their comp.
We've got one player down on each side from both teams. Shay's now looking to get things started. Goes down, actually. Glyph holds the number advantage for now. They still have yet to cross the midpoint here. They have Flower there to worry about, which goes down very quickly. Rise trying to make a move on Shay's. Rise able to take out Shays. They've actually got a numbers disadvantage now, as you see a sloshing machine 1v1. Callan able to get the better of it there. 4 clams at the ready. 2 players down on Crescent Knight, or actually on Glyph. Crescent Knight holding the advantage for now. They actually have a Flower clam as well. We're going to pass that over to Flower as they get that Booyah Bomb ready to go. That Booyah Bomb goes off, and see if they can get that clam in. Unless Rise has anything to say about it, takes the player out, but not the clam.
Yeah, so that clams getting in, of course, means that now Crescent Knight can do a good work trying to get some clams in. If they can sneak in, and I don't think they're going to be able to. Well, now's the time they got to back up, regroup. First push, not the best one that they could have hoped for. Could have gotten a lot bigger number of points out of that one.
Glyph seems to be holding steady so far, and we've seen that just by preventing them by getting any more clams after that one push. But Rorik there, trying to get something going on to Flower. Flower already taking down 2 players on Glyph. Crescent Knight looking at another advantage as they head straight towards the basket. That Booyah Bomb comes out. Callan and Flower trying to make moves down the court side. Shays has the power clam in their hands. Can they move in and make a shot there? Not quite. Glyph is doing very well. Hold them back as Bell's able to take out Shays before Shays can sneak in that power clam.
Yeah, really, really smart play there. You always want to watch the flank. And that power clam, of course, not dead yet, but it's not in the greatest position to be picked up, I'd say. You're not going to be able to really get it where it's sitting right there. So that's pretty well done.
Well done indeed, as Rise pops up another Booyah Bomb. This is about the far they've gone so far. There's already 2 minutes left on the clock. Warwick there looking for an opening, still looking as we try as they try to get things started. Remember, Crescent Knight has got to 80 remaining. They've only got the power clam in, and if Glyph is only able to get the power clam in, then they'll still be at a loss. They'll be at 81 points remaining, but they do have 2 players down now. If there's any good time to move, it's going to be now, unless that Inksduke has anything to say about it. Already takes down 1 player. Warwick, they're still going for the basket and gets in there. They still have 8 clams to go. Can they sneak any of them by? Yes, they do, up to 68 points remaining. 3 players down on Glyph, but Glyph holds the lead for now as Crescent Knight looks for a response.
Manta Maria is so big that the members of Crescent Knight are going to take a bit of time to get back into mid, so Glyph doesn't have to rush as much as they would on a very small map, like, say, for example, Barnacle and Dime. They can afford to let the members of Crescent Knight take a little bit more of mid.
Yeah, they could afford to do just that. I mean, Crescent Knight still in a deficit there. 80 points remaining. They haven't found a response they need to get, and there's a minute to go in this game, so they're going to need to find it pretty quickly. Callan there trying to sneak a bunker, not able to do so yet, but he did get the power clam popped off. Callan trying to make something happen from that, but Crescent Knight goes 3 down now. It's Wolf all to themselves with that V-shot there, trying to see if they can sneak themselves in. Hasn't found the opportunity yet. Glyph now catching on to that. Warwick there trying to make the move on Wolf, who has to drop down. See if they can get a pick on Rise. Rise able to win that 1v1. Things are looking good so far for Glyph, but remember, no lead is safe in Splatoon. But it looks pretty safe now for Glyph as Crescent Knight keeps going down just 1 by 1, not finding the responses yet.
Yeah, and they really don't want to be going in staggered. That's not what you want to do with only a few seconds left on the clock. You want to be getting the power clam. They do have the 1 down by the pity basket, but they want to have at least 2 just in case something happens and that one goes poof.
Playing Blitz overtime, a dangerous place to be. Glyph looking pretty confident in themselves. They see the Booyahs coming out. Halfway into overtime, Crescent Knight going 2 players down. They have to pick up the power clam. 3 players down now. It's all up to the Carnival, who's been wiped out as Warwick scores the final clam. That confidence was well backed up as Glyph able to save the day, getting that power clam in overtime, making it 1-0 on the set.
Yeah, really, really good job there from Glyph holding mid, especially because the comp that they're running is pretty risky. That comp does not have as much paint as you would assume it would. Charger just does not paint that well for itself anymore, let alone for other weapons. You're basically relying completely on the NZAP and, to a certain degree, the fizzy bombs from the machine to provide your entire paint output for a very paint-hungry weapon in that range blaster. But they did a great job with it.
Absolutely, and if there was any doubt in this team, in Glyph, as they put in their, I gotta repeat their tweet again, because it says, "Hey, howdy, this is Glyph, a new D3 team, I think. I don't know." Well, I'd like to say you're making a pretty good case for yourself so far. I mean, Crescent Knight, to their credit, has been doing pretty well. They're holding on for a majority of the matchup. I don't think Glyph had an opportunity until the last 2 minutes of the game, or actually until the last minute of the game. So Crescent Knight still holding strong, but Glyph able to find the opportunities when they need them. They saw a disadvantage and finally said, you know what, we're gonna just go straight in. We have all the clams necessary, we have all the specials necessary. I think that's when things started to click for them. I mean, sorry. I was trying to get my notes and then my notes fell out of my desk, so it turns out Shad's also fell off the commentator desk. Unless, did you fall off the desk?
I don't know. Did I fall off the desk? I think I did a little bit. But it's okay, because unlike Inklings, if I fall off something, I don't have to respawn.
Nothing falls off.
Oh.
We don't fall off. We keep rising up. This is this is starting to become a motivational post. We're just gonna head straight into game 2. Or head straight into talk about game 2, rather.
Yeah, Shipshape Cargo Company on tower control. The choke point in mid is still present, but not as, as exaggerated as it would be on a mode such as Splat Zone, where it's a super narrow zone, of course. Tower moves all the way over to the left and right-hand side. Sides of the map, over by the gray area, great place, haha, to set up if you are a long-range weapon. And we do see chargers on both sides of the field. Both teams are going to be running the Zeko Fin.
Nice choice by
Pretty
both
similar
teams.
comps.
Similar comps indeed. I think the only changes, or actually the change we see from Crescent is going to be that splatter scope, but we don't even see any changes so far as Glyph actually goes two players down from Crescent Knight. Crescent Knight holding on, actually not holding on because Glyph gets a triple there. There might be a chance for a delayed wipeout, but they do back up wisely so as Bells moves up just a bit more, gets themselves in enemy territory. Everyone in the enemy territory now as Rorek soars past checkpoint 1. It's going to be an easy clear for them as Glyph actually finds himself in just a bit of trouble. There's still a neutral fight there, equal numbers on both sides, but then specials starting to come out for Crescent Knight. Give themselves a bit of breathing room as they try to stop this push, heading into checkpoint 3, but they do get to checkpoint 3.
Yeah, getting all the way to 25 with 2 down on the side of Crescent Knight. Things are going to get snowballing very quickly. This is the last checkpoint before the final goal, and they're 2 down on the side of Crescent Knight. Glyph just keeps marching on. Bells is actually in a pretty aggressive spot for a charger. Doesn't manage to get anyone, but does provide enough covering fire along with the machine and the zap to get that tower into goal. Very, very swift knockout there from Glyph.
If nobody got me, I know Tower Momentum got me. Can I get a booyah? Oh my goodness, that is one of the best ways to win, making sure Warwick stays on long enough that if they can't get there, the Tower Momentum will push them straight to that last checkpoint, getting themselves the win. That's 2-0 for Glyph, but it's not over yet. Still play on 3 as we head into Splat Zones on Umami Ruins.
And that last game can, of course, be the difference between getting into a higher bracket versus a lower bracket. Game 3 counts just as much as Game 1 does.
What's the best part about play all 3s?
Do you think there are any hieroglyphs in Umami Ruins?
Sometimes the sometimes the Splatsville Square post, whatever. I want to call them Meepers posts, even though I know they're not, but sometimes they're good drawings. Sometimes they look like hieroglyphs, so I guess you could say those. There are hieroglyphs there? No offense to the artist.
Yeah, drawing on those things can be hard, but you know what's not hard? Putting together a great lockout comp on this map. And both these teams are actually running ones that would work very well for it. Chip damage comps focusing around the blaster, around the machine are going to do exceptionally well here. And having a little bit of range from some form of an anchor weapon, doesn't necessarily have to be a charger, could be a heavy, could be something more of like a mid-range anchor, like a blobber or a pencil, and provide just a little bit of space that you need to stop people from getting out of their spawn. And you can go straight up to the spawn pad too. It's fun for everyone, unless you're the team that's stuck in spawn.
And if he's stuck at spawn, well, maybe gotta work on it a little bit. I mean, there's an art to spawning, I'm sure, but there is an art to getting things started with Game 3, and we're gonna see how both of these teams master that art as we see Glyph here making a few switches to their comp. There's actually a Slosher and a Sniper Rider coming out from Glyph. Crescent Knight opting for more of the same. I think Glyph here knows that they've been able to do so well with their comps. They're going to play around with them just a little bit more, but they still have the similar dynamic from what they've been working with so far. They want to keep that dynamic, but use a few more weapons, allow themselves to get a little bit more aggressive, which is why you'll see that Sniper Rider come out with the cooler.
Yeah, the weapons on Glyph now are a little bit better at moving both faster and keeping space. The comp, of course, as a whole speeds up exponentially when you drop an anchored weapon. 1 down on, make that 2 down though, on the side of Glyph. Third one jumping back to spawn. One was stuck in the little snipe nest, so this is actually looking pretty solid for Crescent Knight right now. They've got the Trizuka ready. They lose the cooler weapon. They won't have that in a while. Here comes the Trizuka coming out from Glyph, as well as the Tri-Strikes. Not able to find anybody with either of those. They do get to neutralize his zone. Rourke is going going to get a nice pick there on the shooter weapon. Stops there, tries to get from coming out. One in the snipe nest and then the sniper, not in the snipe nest. Machine's gonna go fight that blaster. Trades with them. Very good trade there, really, I would say, for the blaster. Getting the pick on the machine.
And you can see how this dynamic is starting to play out here. Notice Warwick and Slosher for a second there. You almost think that Bells is trying to keep tracking him, but with his mobility, they can keep tracking him from just about anywhere. Bell's able to take a few more positions than they normally would with any other charger, which is what's working so well about this lineup here. Making sure you can move anyone, move these little chess pieces wherever you'd like, as they actually get the lead here. Down to 40 remaining, as Crescent Knight is going to respawn from that wipeout from courtesy of Glyph. Crescent Knight still looking. Shades there having to back up from some Inkzookas. Crescent Knight looking to be in a very tough spot here. Bells there, actually Rise there, credited with the pick. 10 points remaining for Glyph. This could be game over unless Wolf has anything to say about it. Tries to sneak around, not able to do so. Another clean sweep for the stream as Glyph takes this set 3-0.
Crescent Knight being able to be a lot more aggressive this game, though, than they were the other games, though. First game was very stalematey in a sense. Glyph, obviously, perfect textbook example of tower control on ship shape for game 2. Quickest 100-0 I've seen on that stage. And then right here, though, Crescent Knight looking very, very dominant in the first half of the game. They managed to get Glyph backed up pretty far in their spawn, but once the Glyph got them 3 down, they managed to take a foothold and just didn't let go.
And that's going to take Glyph up to 2-0, already taking a win against Red Embers from Illinois State University. Going to be playing against Foul Play next round. Crescent Knight playing against Illinois, actually Red Embers, so that's going to be an interesting matchup on that pool. But from us, I believe that might be it. I'm going to check my hand, because usually my hand has all the information I need. My hand tells me that my future has it doesn't have a break in line, because we actually have that next match coming up pretty soon.
Actually, when is soon? Now. It's now.
Now o'clock. In fact, I'm looking at my watch. It says a quarter seconds until now o'clock. Now o'clock being right now, actually. If you look at the clock and your phone, computer monitor, whatever, it says now o'clock. For me, it says 8 p.m. But now o'clock says we've got this set ready for y'all. Secret Elixir versus Helios. I'm already looking at these teams. I can already tell you this is going to be one heck of a matchup.
Oh yeah, Secret Elixir, always a crowd favorite here over at IPL. We loved watching them. We've loved watching them since they were in low ink. We've loved watching them since they've been low ink banned. And Helios, nothing to sneeze at. Deceased and Magic in particular are names that really stick out to me on that team. They're the ones that I remember the best from just commentating other matches that they've played in. Obviously, Sorella, Astro, and Floops 52 definitely have to be playing just on their level, if not better than them, to be able to be on the same team as them. Do you think Floops is going to play the 52 gal?
Honestly, maybe. I think, especially on a map like Undertow Spillway, it could be pretty funny just because there's a lot of choke points on Undertows. But I think looking at these things, and this is for my comp split history buffs, Helios, you'll notice that this is almost the same roster from Ink Killers, and Secret Elixir has that history of being that second place team just come oh so close to winning low ink. So most of these teams, no strangers to how they can play against one another. I'm no stranger to OBT since I spent a whole Looney season with him. If you're watching this OBT, I didn't forget it. You keep calling me Beto. I'm kidding. Definitely no grudges there. Absolutely not. My name's Nito. You could call me Beto if you want. OBT reserves full rights, I think. Copyrights, maybe? But game 1.
A1, Rainmaker, Undertow. Going back to 52 gal for a second, it could be fun to make people move on this map with the whale weapons. Of course, 52 not the only one that they could go with for the whale. Other good specials here. You're always going to be great with Zuka here. Let's be real, there's no stage where Zuka's bad. Bubbler, not necessarily the best special weapon here. Probably not going to see it.
Sorry, I heard.
Be interesting. Chumps can clear space
I
decently
heard
well around.
Bubbler, and then I started thinking about Splatoon 2, and like I mistook the big bubbler for the bubble blower in Splatoon 2, and I thought, you know what, that would actually be pretty funny to see on an Undertow Spillway.
No thanks, I have trauma from Instapop bubbles.
Okay, we'll move on in that case to game 1. That's going to be Helios in the blue and Secret Elixir in the orange. OVT opting for the Slosher, which he took from me back in Aquatic Vanguard, by the way, just so you know. I'm kidding, totally kidding. So Helios there, opting for a similar lineup. Actually, you see the Sorella, the 10 umbrella coming up from Sorella. That's starting to become a little staple there for Sorella as we start to see them getting into a bit of a neutral battle. We see Sorella there is actually isolated for a bit. That splashdown helping take out Sorella as both teams go one player down. Still a bit of a neutral battle, but Secret Elixir holds control of the Rainmaker for now.
Yeah, the Cease doing a great job getting 2 down, but not able to find a Rainmaker who sneaks around. Manages to get the checkpoint. That was some excellent footwork there from, I believe it was the bucket on Secret Elixir. 2 down low on the side. That's Secret Elixir. This is going to be on Zuko right now, because why not have that be your main weapon? But it's quickly going to revert back to that ever-present vanilla splatter shot that you see a lot of. Here comes the Zuko from the side of Secret Elixir. Manages to find 2 down on each side of the field. Loops is doing their best to pick up the Rainmaker, while Sorella's providing a little bit of cover with that moving shield. They do manage to break the first checkpoint, so we have essentially a tied game at the moment.
A tied game indeed. 61 points remaining. Nothing to laugh at when you're Secret Elixir trying to get a few picks on the board. They actually get 3 there. A great wipeout, and that's exactly what Secret Elixir is looking for. Making sure they can keep that lead. Now they're going to look for the response. They don't have any checkpoints ahead of them, so this is going to be an easy cruise if they can get there. But they're already seeing a lot of pressure from Sorella, able to take out one player from the side of Secret Elixir. Helios already setting things up. You notice them stacking 3 players. Could be dangerous. 3 players going down now for Helios. Actually, 3 players going down on each side. That could have been a delayed wipe. There's a delayed wipe as Brandon tries to make a sneak by. Magic there picking up the Rainmaker. Helios holds on for now. Secret Elixir holding on to the lead as well.
Yeah, and they're going to quickly pivot over to the left-hand side. Both teams seeing if they can get anyone. Right now would be a great time if one member of Helios could work it out. They could go for a flank. Don't need to, though. They managed to get 3 down, so they will get the lead. Looks like Sorta is going to try and get a nice lineup there in that corridor for the Yuka. Manages to find one. Doesn't manage to find anyone else, but they got the Rainmaker, the important one. 1 down on the side of Secret Elixir, 2 down on the side of Helios. But it looks like a flank coming around, sneaking that Rainmaker all the way to 6. That is essentially just as good as a knockout on this stage. It's really hard to get past that choke point.
Brendan now with the Rainmaker, trying to find an opening, but Helios just put them at a very steep hill they're going to have to climb now, as we see another Trizuka play there from Sorella, opting for that long-range shot. OBT is going to try to sneak their way through, see if they can get Sorella with the slosher there. Great shot there from OBT. He took that from me, by the way. That's 100% true. Totally factual, as Jorent's there looking to make some moves with the Rainmaker. 53 seconds remaining. This is going to be, again, a steep hill for them to climb, but definitely climbable enough for them to make it. I think get themselves past the pedestal, trying to get themselves just a bit further. Both teams going down 1 player. Still a neutral battle. Still anyone's game for now.
Looks like Sorta might be going for a flank. Doesn't able to find anybody. The splashdown doesn't able to get anyone either. Darren's is in not a good position right now. Magic is coming around behind. They don't see Magic. Magic gets that with assistance from Sorella. That's a delayed wipe on the side of Secret Elixir. And Helios is doing an amazing job holding this Rainmaker in just a bad position, really, for Secret Elixir to pick up.
Sorella still looking for an opening. You say that's a very tough position. I mean, look at the amount of paint you see on the ground. Just a lot of blue there. Helios doing a great job, not only in these fights and not only with the specials, but in the amount of coverage they have, making it very difficult for Secret Elixir to find the openings, as Helios is still looking for it. That's actually triple from Helios as the Seas now picks up the Rainmaker. They're going to try to make another push. They realize that they don't have to push as far, but the one thing about pushing it far, even when you have a lead as big as this, is that you make it even more difficult for Secret Elixir. Even if they do reset it, that's still a lot of time they have to spend, and with about 15 seconds left on the clock, there's not much time for them to begin with, so Disease is going to stall this Rainmaker here in the corner. 10 seconds to go. The Ink Strikes coming out, the triple splashdown coming out as well. They do have to pick up the Rainmaker very soon here, unless Helios is able to pick it up, and they do, giving them the first win of the set.
Pushing the Rainmaker that far also forces the other team to burn their specials instead of saving for an overtime push. You saw there the Trizuka came out, the Tri-Strikes came out, the Splashdown came out. That is nothing that they'll have to clear space for later.
And space indeed. There, again, I mentioned this earlier, there just wasn't that much space for Secret Elixir to begin any sort of push, with Helios doing so well with the paint coverage. I'm sure the Tenebella is doing a pretty good job helping out already, just with how much that is able to cover, but everyone and the way they're painting around, making sure not only did they get their specials, but it makes it that much more difficult for Secret Elixir to sneak by. They have a lot of weapons which they can be sneaking around with. I mean, you notice OBT sneaking through Sorella, getting that pick in. They're trying to shut that down before it happens. We're going to see how it plays out in a map where that can be equally as important, Clan Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy.
One of the changes to Clan Blitz in this game in Inkblot Art Academy, the steps are now a ramp, which means that Tentabrellas are going to like it a lot more. Honestly, when you go against a Tentabrella that knows what they're doing, that isn't random Joe Schmo in solo queue A rank North America that picked it up because they thought it was fun. Not that there's anything wrong with it doing that. It's a lot different. It's a distraction. It can be aggressive. It can be great on defense. It's just overall such a tricky weapon to both play around and play against when you're facing a competent one, and Sorella's definitely competent.
IPL would like to apologize to all North Americans currently in A rank. Get better. But yeah, like you mentioned, there's with that ramp, it's going to change a lot with how. Okay, we were told they were going to swap players. They actually swapped one of the players out for a ghost. There's a 3v4 going on with Secret Elixir, apparently. I
thought Halloween wasn't until October.
It's always October somewhere.
I don't know if math works that way.
I don't know. 2 plus 2 is telling me October 31st is in 2 days.
Okay.
I have a really bad calculator. It's malfunctioning.
I think you might need to get that taken a look at, Nito. It's just a tiny little bit.
But we're also going to take a look at is what kind of comps they pulled out. I believe Helios pulled out something similar to what they ran in the last match, which, I mean, honestly, Rainmaker, Clan Blitz, you do want any sort of comp that will allow you to push just a tiny bit forward, even a tiny bit forward. So I think, honestly, Helios keeping with that same comp, it's a pretty good pick there. Secret Elixir swapping out a few players. I think now they're starting to maybe adjust to Helios, but I do want to see how they do so. And obviously, we didn't get to see how that worked because 3v4s don't work out as well. They'd have to replay that. Now with the run back. Trying again, there's 4 players. Looks like we're all ready to go here as we head into game 2, number 2. Helios in the yellow and Secret Elixir in the purple.
Do you see that Kurta has swapped in? Believe that's with the ballpoint. Still having a vanilla shot on both sides of the field. We have to battle the Tri-Sloshers, vanilla versus Nouveau, so cooler for Helios like they did last time, but we have a double Inkjet comp coming out from Secret Elixir, which this is not a bad map for Inkjet. I mean, you have lots of places you can get elevations. You have lots of places where people can be exposed to not just inkjets, but also air and Trizuka shots, just like the one that Soda just got.
Soda's still getting a few picks, and nice job there, preventing Magic from making any more damage. Magic able to sneak around, I believe, around the edge there, which is what Tri-Slosher is able to do so well. And here's another 3v4 courtesy of Helios as one player goes down for good, apparently. I mean, this match has already turned into a 3v4, and Floops has ended the battle, making it a still 1-0. Helios in the lead. I don't think a 3v4 affects things. Maybe.
Yeah, so important note with the DC rules here. Since the first time that we had to restart the match, it looks like that the player DC'd in the lobby, so that one does not count as a replay for both teams. This time now, Helios has a DC, so if they have another player that DCs, well, they're just gonna have to play the 3v4.
That's when you just gotta toughen up and say, you know what, we've got 3 players, that's better than 2. 2 is better than 1, 1's better than 0. I think 3 is doing pretty well, so we'll just keep these 3. But as we wait for both teams to get back into the matchup, I like to say Helios is taking a similar strategy here, except now with that bit more aggression from the Tri-Slosher, you're going to see that far more. I think Inkblot allows for more of those close range matchups, and you can even allow for that Tri-Slosher to sneak by, just because Inkblot has so many sneaky spots from where you can sneak by. Undertow, Spillway doesn't quite work the same. You do have some sneaky spots. That's what I like to call them now. Or that's what I like to call flank routes. But with the way Inkblot is shaped and the way there's so many of these obstacles throughout the way, there's so much more opportunities for you to sneak by.
And not just sneaking by, some of the same reasons why the changes in elevation make it so great for inkjets also makes it great for ledge camping weapons. You're going to be almost always hanging out on some sort of ledge. You're going to be on the stacks, you're going to be on plat, you're going to be on the foot thingy that's by the clam basket. It's just a great map for sloshers in general.
And we see similar
of course,
comps from
that
both teams.
Yeah, both teams, of course, having to use the same comp because it wasn't in-game DC. 1 down on the side of Secret Elixir. Map is going to be green for the most part. 2 down on the side of Secret Elixir. Yep, that is going to be a very, very green map. The Cease is playing pretty aggressively with that Nautilus. Very, very quickly trying to get up into the face of that ball point. And here comes the Trizuka, not able to find anyone.
Rice going down very quickly, deceased with the Nautilus. Again, I mentioned the aggression that Tri-Slosher allows for. Since there's so many more choke points and flank spots, you don't need that much paint, especially when you have that Fizzy Bomb right after you. That Fizzy Bomb can paint very well for itself, and especially very well for a weapon like the Tri-Slosher. As you notice, Magic, they're trying to sneak around the outside there, trying to get a pick on. Soda has to back up, wisely does so, as they've got to 35 points remaining. A pretty good push. That should go up to 32 points remaining, courtesy of this Cease there. They do get a delayed wipe, Secret Elixir, as they try to find another opportunity. You can see them get very quick on the paint. Brendan there trying to make a pick, gets a pick on Floops, who actually gets a pick on another member of Secret Elixir. Both teams now 1 player down. Deceased goes down as well to the hands of Brendan. Needs a few more picks to get themselves into push territory. Brendan there on the Inkjet, not quite able to make things happen. They're going to be pushed back with that recall. 2 players going down, 1 on each side.
Yeah, the landing was camped, but the Tri-Slosher manages to get the trade on the landing. Rice goes after Sorella, trades with them. 1 down on, make that 2 down on each side of the field. Kurta and Brendan are pushed way back to their basket and their plat bow. Mid is still very green. Brendan's going to try and get some height up there. Obviously, of course, it's better tactical position, but if that's not going to stop the Cease from getting the fall-off shot on him, 2 down on the side of Secret Elixir. Well, Helios is very quickly going to build another ball.
Loops now has the ball at the ready. Both teams now looking to respond to one another. Sorella, you see that 10 umbrella coming out? That's going to get them down to 14 penalty points. They haven't gained any more points. They might not gain any more, as Sorella there sees himself in a bit of trouble, able to jump out before anything bad can happen. Floops able to sneak by a few more clams, still in the penalty points. So they still have to clear that before they can make any more moves, but Secret Elixir clamps that down. able to hold him to 19 penalty points. Secret Elixir, though, they have yet to score a clam with 2 minutes left on the clock. Time's going to be running out for them. But they still have an opportunity with this numbers advantage. 2 players down now on the side of Helios, 1 down for Secret Elixir. Brendan going to try to get a pick on Deceased. Is Deceased will allow it. Brendan there all alone. Deceased has snuck away. Secret Elixir still looking for that opportunity.
We're going to take this guy with very hit now. Manages to get one. Another member on Helios going down at the same time. So this is a great position to try and get the push. Well, another one going down. Still played a kill there. Umbrella on the ramp right here with the tent umbrella. Brendan is going to try their best to get them. Not able to get killed. Does force a jump out, which is almost just as good. And then here comes 2 down on the side of Secret Elixir. Sorella is going to try and push in again with this Umbrella and the Trizuke, which I assume is going to come out very, very quickly here. They're in a great spot for it if they can do it. But no, they go taken out.
He gets taken out very quickly. There's actually 10 points now remaining for Helios. Dangerous spawn here for Secret Elixir. If Helios can find more clams, they have 7 clams ready. You can get those clams in very quickly. 1 point remaining. And quickly as that, Helios gets the KO before time runs out, putting themselves up 2-0 on the set.
Yeah, but here we are again. Game 3. Could Secret Elixir make this be our first 2-1 set on stream?
I think we've got a good opportunity here. I think Secret Elixir, they've proven to put up that fight against Helios. You'll see it more in Game 1, but even in Game 2, notice that Secret Elixir is still holding themselves together, keeping themselves calm, and keeping themselves especially tighter together. That's what's caused Secret Elixir to... They actually prevented Helios rather, from getting past those penalty points in that initial push from 35 remaining. So they still have what it takes to bring this fight to Helios. They just need those offensive pushes, those offensive opportunities, and in fact that offensive creativity in order to sneak themselves by. Now with tower control on Manta Maria coming by, they do have more of an opportunity. There's less resource management that they have to do here, because I noticed that especially with that push from Brendan, they didn't quite have the clams or the numbers to respond to it. So I think with tower control, there's less tower management. You just gotta have 1 person on it and 3 people maybe in front of it. So I think there's an opportunity here for Secret Elixir to at least take one from Helios.
Yeah, tower control on Manta Maria also is pretty famously snowbally. And sometimes, no matter how good you are, you can't stop the snowball. Sometimes you can't. That being said though, a lot of great places for defense on this map, especially when the tower is down in the pit between the last checkpoint and the goal.
Absolutely, and I think if they swap out any players, I think Helios, they know they've been running pretty well so far. The 10 Umbrella, honestly, they might bring it back. I know this is a little bit more narrow than the last 2 maps we've seen. They're probably just going to bring back that 10 Umbrella just because, one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you might even see it come back here. OBT making a return for Secret Elixir as well. So that 10 Umbrella comes out. Similar comp to what we've seen so far. Secret Elixir opting for a sloshing machine and a squeezer on Parry Doolies. And the N-Zap, that's going to be Helios in the pink and Secret Elixir in the lime green.
Yeah, so we do see, of course, it is a vanilla squeezer. No splatter color screen. Said that's going to have Trizuka and Ball, which honestly is a great kit for Squeezer. Down on the side of Secret Elixir very quickly though. Maybe they're hoping that the extra firepower from the Squeezer will help them take out more aggressive members of Helios. But so far it doesn't seem to be working. Sorella right up where you would normally expect a shooter weapon to be, but 3 down on the side of Helios. Floops is the only one alive. Really trying hard to stay alive, not able to. I think that they died before the cooler wore off though, so that's going to be an insta respawn.
And notice that Durance in the Squeezer, they have Thermal Link as well, so I think they're trying to counter at least the 10 Umbrella, because they know that 10 Umbrella likes to sneak around using that 10 shield, so they bring out the Squeezer with Thermal Link to make sure they know where that 10 Umbrella is at all times. Here comes the triple splashdown from Brendan. OBT going down. There's 3 players going down. Now Brendan might go down as well. They're going to have to try to sneak themselves back Brendan still having a bit of trouble trying to fend them off, as Sorella and I believe Magic there was also going to be a bit of a threat, but they do keep the tower rolling as they get towards the second checkpoint. 64 points left on the clock. A sneaky bomb, they're able to take out that V shot from Helios as Secret Elixir hopes to get things up and running yet again.
Combination of the lead and the Yolanda very quickly able to clear out to the bunker from members of Helios. 2 down on the blue team as Brennan rushes forward, manages to pick off the siege. There is one member over on the left-hand side of the stage, not able to survive, going down to the blue. So OBT is in a good position over on the left-hand side. Ledge camping, of course, is what you want to do if you are Splatoon. Here comes the Izuka on the tower, and Secret Elixir is going to take lead. OBT is going to do their best to try and get that checkpoint. Manages to get the trade, Mo. You do not want to trade if you are the last one alive.
Oh, absolutely not, and especially when you're on Tower 2, that makes things a bit more difficult. As we see Magic here with the Tri Nouveau tactical going down as quickly as it was brought up. That's why you make sure you know where you're putting it, kids. Which means we're gonna go into maybe getting the lead for Helios. 53 points remaining, getting to someone on the tower, and that's the lead for them. Checkpoint 2 passed by, 45 remaining for them, as Secret Elixir able to get the wipeout very quickly. About 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Gerent's there, and actually again facing another sea of Helios's ink color. Helios doing so well in that regard, and they got up to, I believe, 52. Actually, Helios got up to 45 points remaining. Secret Elixir doing a little bit better on the offensive side of things, finding those more opportunities, just like that, getting themselves a triple against Helios. Now they're putting themselves in even more of a threatening spot, but Gerents goes down very quickly there.
Yeah, they do manage to get past the second checkpoint. 1, 2 down, 3 down on the side. That is a delayed wipe. Secret Elixir just made that a full life lift to jump in. Secret Elixir just barely not able to take the lead. We have the 1-point lead with 1 minute and 20 seconds or so remaining on the clock. The C's going to be on the tower right now. Possibly going to toss that rain up on the left-hand side. It's pretty good for being able to get damage up there.
A little bit of chip damage indeed, but it's something they're gonna like to see. But here comes Helios trying to get a bigger lead. But Matt have to watch out for Magic though. Secret Elixir has to watch out for Magic. Magic's still sneaking by, able to shut that down quickly. Brendan there doing a great job with those dualies. 1 more minute to go as Secret Elixir tries to bring another threat with the weapon. As we say here, as I forget my words yet again. 40 seconds left on the clock. Secret Elixir still opting to try to get that lead. Not quite there.
Yeah, but they are 2 down on the side of Helios. Sorella is in a decent position, and Floops, of course, has to jump from Magic. But 2 down on the side of Helios. Floops is actually going to abandon the high ground to go back down into the corridor. Not able to find anyone. Here comes the Trizuka. Manages to find one. Can they get another one? We do see 46 points remaining. The C's hopping on the tower. Here comes the triple splash down. Magic is going to stay alive, but not managing to find anybody. 1 down on each side of the field. Last member of Secret Elixir is going to rush for tower. And when you're on the side of the tower, it just does not count.
Ooh, well, Helios, thank you for continuing the tradition of sweeps for the Nissy's Pools stage of the tournament as we get a 3-0 sweep from Helios, taking it down to 3 clean sweeps for the Knights. A great job there from Helios, I think with most regards actually, because again I noticed it in all these games here. You notice the just amount of paint control they have, amount of coverage, and just how well they've been able to do with these 1v1s. Secret Elixir, I mean, I know almost cliche to hear close match over and over again, but it just really could have gone either way. I think especially in that last matchup, Secret Elixir just shows a little bit more of their skill and a little bit more of what they could do. I think the numbers here don't show the full story, but ultimately it is Helios that's going to be going 3-0, I believe, in the group stage. That's going to knock Secret Elixir down to 2-1, but a great showing here from both teams either way.
Absolutely great pool rounds all around. Know it's beginning of the year. People like to say every year, oh, I'm going to get nice and clean and organized. But man, 3 sweeps right in a row? I didn't know we were doing that much cleaning.
I mean, we usually reserve cleaning for the spring, but we're going to reserve a bit of cleaning for now as we head into break. Coming up next, we're going to be heading straight into the bracket stages, so don't change that channel. We'll be right back with the Great White Bracket.
We are back faster than ever thanks to auto progression on Start GGE with Swimmer Sync's Top Cut.
Back and
Glyph,
better
of course.
than ever.
Yeah, Glyph, of course, we have seen before, saw him earlier. Torrent, new face for the stream tonight. The question is, will we see another sweep? We're taking bets on whether or not we see another sweep.
And due to the fact that we are in Great White, this means both teams have gone 3-0 in their group stages. I think it is worth noting that Torrent had a bit of a more difficult path here. Torrent actually going 2-1 in both of their sets. Glyph, almost an easier path. They did get 1-2-1, but clean sweep for them. However, Torrent is no team to be looked over. Torrent, I believe, made it to Div 4, but they do have enough to challenge this team, I feel. There's a lot of talent here. I know I've seen Onkar play just because they played with my former team at UT Dallas, the Comet Blasters, or whatever name they're going by now, because I believe the name's changed about 3 times now. Lots of talent on both teams.
I've heard of a couple times. We have won the one, not the one formerly known as the one now known as Pro Chara. Although that would be awesome if we could get him playing this.
The one. Is it the 2 now?
Is it the 3? Is it the 4? Can we go higher? I don't know.
The One Piece.
I don't really know
Is it real?
anything about Tech or CJ. Josh, I want to say is a Slayer. I want to say that they play like Machine and stuff like that. That's the weapon that pops into my head when I look at that username. I know I've definitely seen them around, or at least somebody that's being their doppelganger.
Well, we've definitely seen Glyph around. We actually saw them earlier in the night taking that 3-0 set against Crescent Knight. So we're going to see how that translates to here. And now we did see Hagglefish Market last time Glyph was on stream, I believe. So Hagglefish Market makes a return, but this time it's going to be in tower control.
Yeah, so first checkpoint a little bit easier to clear. Second one, though, in kind of a choky position. It's not the easiest one to get past. You have a bunch of well-protected high ground for the defending team to rain this devastation down upon whatever a poor, unfortunate soul happens to be standing on the tower at that moment.
It is worth noting, I look at the prediction, I'm sneaking to look at the predictions. Torrent leading the predictions by an overwhelming amount. Glyph here getting just a little bit of love from the betters, but that doesn't mean Glyph is out of this matchup. Oh no, this think quote unquote Div 3 team looking to bring the fight to Torrent, we know Div 4 team at least, and I believe looking at this lineup here, there's a lot. Actually, I actually kind of want to know, because there's a few of these names that I don't think I've seen on this Torrent team. I know Onkar, Josh, I know those players have been on this team for a while. I wanted to see about the rest of these. Okay, also was as well. Sorry, my bad.
I couldn't tell you that's their normal roster because I've never seen Torrent play before. Whatever happens, I'm expecting probably... I would say at this point you're going to see games that aren't as one-sided, per se. You're probably going to see games, again, that are very back and forth, very stalemate-y, similar scores for the most part of the match. I mean, final score may be 80-20, but if score is 80-81 for 4.5 minutes, it's a lot closer than the final numbers expect. Of course, both teams being the top team in their group, you're going to see similar skill levels at this point. Not as much of a random mess.
Yes, it's no longer we think, it's finally we know. We're going to see how well we know about these teams soon enough. I mean, looking at the rest of my notes, I did actually want to point this out at some point. I guess we have the time to do so now. There is 2 teams signed up this week. One of them is Reef Raiders. One of them is Reef Runners. So if you're keeping track of either of those 2 teams, good luck, because both of these teams started with Reef, and I hope that both of them wouldn't play together. I kind of did, because I think it'd be funny, but as a commentator, I looked at both of these teams and I thought, Okay, we're gonna have to call one like Reef Raid or Reef Run. Ugh. Lots of
One team
consideration.
Raiders, one team Runners. Easy. Just drop the Reef.
The Raiders are beating the Runners, and the Runners might be able to win the next run if they run harder than the other team raids.
Would be fun. I'm sure it would be very amusing for everybody in the chat. Kind of like when everybody made Hitzel and I want to say it was 9 do Irish wristwatches as a team name. Here we
Speaking
go.
of team names,
Straight into the map.
that's gonna be Glyph in the yellow and Torrent in the purple. Getting ready to start things off for us here in the great white bracket. Finally getting things started with Top Cut. Notice that's Rise with the Neo sloshing machine, and that's also Ninja Squid as well. Torrent, they're opting for a very aggressive lineup. Actually, you see these Splatoon Stamper and the Slosher providing most of their range. The V-Shot and the N-Zap giving themselves most of the aggression as well, especially with that cooler. As one player goes down for Torrent, 2 players going down for Glyph. They respond. 3 players going down now for Glyph. Torrent holding on to the numbers advantage for now as they get to head towards the first checkpoint.
Torrent, of course, just going for the hyper aggressive top 3 players and a support that can double as a skirmisher when need be. You can see that they're already pushing way up past the second checkpoint, going underneath the ledges right by the second checkpoint. We saw one person going over to the tent area to see if they can stop anybody from perching over there, but Frodo has fallen off the tower and he can't climb that wall. Manages to get up eventually, but that is a lot of delay, and that gives members of Glyph just enough time to really push the members of Torrent back. Not quite to their side of it. They're still hanging out in the court area. DJ going to just running straight in there with that shot. Gets 2. Can they get it for a 3rd? Bell is going to jump out, and looks like they're dancing with the blaster right now. Now the blaster did manage to take him out. 2 down on the side of Torrent. 3 down on the side of Torrent. So really, this is Glyph's chance to try and turn the map yellow. You want to keep limiting that the Stamper as much as possible, because that is probably the most dangerous weapon on the other team right now. That's the one that's really getting up in the face of Glyph. But 2 going down very quickly. 2, looks like that's the bucket with the high strike. Won't use that special just yet. Here it comes now, making space over where that second checkpoint used to be.
Osa now making their way up. 3 players down now already for Torrent. You're talking about dangerous weapons. Talking about a dangerous team. Able to wipe out a whole team like that. There's a triple on Glyph. Torrent now doing very well against this Glyph team that was doing very well on stream earlier against Crescent Knight. Now it looks like the tables have turned, and Glyph now doesn't quite know what to do yet as we head into the halfway point of the matchup. Back now, keeping their distance between the players. They know with that Splatoon Stamper, they can easily clear this wedge here, and especially people who fall down just like that. Rice trying to make a move. They're going up to, and Torrent goes up to 21 points remaining in the process. They haven't cleared that 3rd checkpoint, which is important, but they still have a very big lead. And with Glyph not able to find another way back in, or even just a way past Torrent, it's proving to be a very safe lead for now.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock remaining. Spec is not going to jump in. They're just going to swim in. Fun down on the side of Torrent. Make that 2 down. So really, this is the time that Glyph wants to move into mid. They want to get it yellow. They do have one member riding the tower. Here comes the cooler in mid for the teammates. 2 down on the side of Torrent. Again, 1 going down on the side of Glyph. So numbers slowly moving in favor of Glyph. Osa is on the left-hand side with that slosher. Hasn't found anybody yet, but does clear the tower really well. Only to jump straight into that sniper shot. So 2 down, make that 3 down, it looks like, on the side of Torrent. Full wipeout on Torrent from the side of Glyph. So Glyph is going to try and move up now. Do what Torrent's been doing to them. Get the spawn camping going. Move up. Get that purple team in their spawn and don't let them leave.
Absolutely. I mean, so far they are, at least during the first 4 minutes of that matchup, they've been doing pretty well at it. Glyph able to sneak it past the first checkpoint But Torrent, again, still holding on to this lead, just making sure Glyph has nowhere to sneak past. And honestly, you can just rely on the mechanic skill of these teams and how well they've been able to do in these 1v1s so far. That Spec now gets 2 players. That's a 1.5 with that assist there. Spec still looking for another pick. Actually, that's another player from Torrent getting that credited with that pick. 2 players going down on Glyph. Glyph has been struggling so far just because they keep themselves in it. They're keeping themselves in that staggered sense just because of how much Torrent is picking them off. So Glyph, again, just doesn't have these responses they didn't need. And Torrent has just been able to walk all over them so far. 15 seconds left on the clock. Glyph looking for another response. 10 seconds left now. Glyph has one more opportunity to make it. This might be the GG ink strike that Torrent's looking for. They can get some on the tower. This could be game over. They did get one person on the tower, but no one's on the tower when they need it. It's going to be 1-0 going to Torrent.
Yeah, so really what you come down to, I think one of the biggest issues here is that Torrent's comp is just able to walk all over Glyph's comp. Glyph's comp is great defensively. It's great for chip damage. And we've seen it work well on screen. Against another comp that is about as slow. Add in a backline weapon and you exponentially slow down your comp. And when you are having hyper aggressive stampers and shooters and buckets just throwing themselves at you again and again like quick respawn is going out of style, it's not going to go too well. Add into the fact to that you don't have a lot of push-in power with that comp initialized. You have the Wave Breaker, you have the Tri-Strike, you have the Trizuka, and you have the Cooler. And you can kind of combo the Cooler off the Tri-Strike maybe to make some space and establish yourself, but it's not going to do as much of an effective immediate action as a Zuka is. And when you only have one compared to double Zuka and a Crab, it's hard to get out of that.
Hard to get out of it indeed. And just to make things a little bit more, give things a little bit more pressure, this is a best of 3 situation. Torrent can move on from this next matchup if they win. They're already at match points, so we're gonna see how this next matchup, or next game rather, plays out for them at Splat Zone on Mako Mart. Torrent, I think honestly, the way they played that last set, it took a while for Glyph to just get to the first checkpoint. I think we were almost at a minute remaining when that happened. So with Splat Zones on Mako Mart coming up, I think we could just expect more of the same from Torrent. They've been able to hold down the fort so well. I believe you mentioned them preventing Glyph from having any sort of opening on the offensive side. So there's a lot to consider here when heading into this next matchup.
I will say though, Glyph's comp does best in situations where they get established first and they dig in that foothold. If they can get established first with these objective not being a moving one on this stage, it could work out better for them.
And speaking of this game, heading into it.
Looks like Rise has changed over to the vanilla Tri, so exchanging the Trizuka for the Inkjet. One down on the side of Torrent. The map is going to flip to green for them. Rise is going to go super fast in, manages to get 2, chasing after Proto, see if they can find one, not able to do. So a good pick there on the bucket. And we have 2 ledge camping weapons sitting over on the left-hand side underneath that ledge. You know that they are very, very happy with their positions right now. Oh, one else is going to drop, doesn't manage to find anyone, has to jump out or face death to the Inkjet. Mac manages to clear the right-hand stack. Here comes the Zip Master. That is the other main thing, but one down on each side of the field.
Goodness, look at that quick few picks from Spec there on that Taunt Stamper, holding down the fort for Torrent, who hasn't had the lead yet. They're actually at 80 points remaining. Glyph able to take that lead during that last minute. Now, just for a little less than 4 minutes remaining, Toad able to get the pick there on, I believe that was Josh with that V-shot. Now Glyph actually gets control of the zone. Specto is a little too busy with Bells. Bells able to sneak past Spec goes down as well. 2 players going down now. 3 players going down now for Glyph. Able to give Torrent a few penalty points to give Glyph a bit of breathing room, but they do have 3 players down now, so this is going to be a crucial retake from Glyph.
Yeah, CJ is over on the right-hand side, about halfway to that Trizuka. They're going to back off, see if they can get it. They do have the Zip Caps. The Zip Caps are coming out. We can see that the special load has disappeared. Doesn't manage to barrel stuff of Rise. Rise will go down to another member, though. So 2 down on the side, 3 down on the side for Glyph as the lead flips in favor of Torrent. Oso's going to set up on the right-hand stack. Proto is going to be over on the right-hand side. The Spec is forced to drop and jump out probably to mid somewhere. I don't think they jumped all the way back to spawn. CJ not able to find anyone with the Zuka. 2 going down for 2 Rise. Spec is in a good position to try and stop this takeover. For 10 seconds, 8, 9, 7, 6, 2 down. They've got to get the zone yellow. Can they get pick on there? They do manage to do, and the zone will flip to green. A beautiful, beautiful save there, keeping Glyph's hopes alive.
And they've got just a bit more breathing room now. That's 65 points on the penalties. And Glyph is actually about to be done with their penalty points as well. As we see Bells there looking to support their enemy, support their own team with some charger shots. Has to back up, unfortunately. But that's Torrent now up to starting to clear their penalty points. Osa working the ledge there as Slosher can do so well. But Glyph has a few one special online, and they're gonna try to get a few more specials ready. I think they already popped that Tacticooler, so that's online for them. One player going down now, actually, as we see that Charger go down. Now the Slosher comes down as well, and that's still a lot of trouble for Glyph, who needs to find a retake soon, as Torrent's about to lose all those penalty points. 5 points remaining. This set can end quickly. As we go down to 2, 1 point remaining. That's going to be it. Torrent moving on to the quarterfinals of Great White, sending Glyph home, winning 2-0.
Yeah, definitely could see there, though, that, like we were talking about earlier, Glyph's comp does very well when it is able to get established. I think at the end there, they were probably trying to get another special to combo with the Tri-Strike, use the Tri-Strike to make some space, then rush in with the Tacticooler. Just other members of Glyph not able to get their specials fast enough, and they kept on going down to Torrent. So we continue the tradition of sweeps, and it's time for us to sweep our way out of the booth, so that way we can get a couple other people to come and talk to all these lovely people in chat.
Yes, IPL has decided they've had enough, and maybe a commentator change can take us out from this sweep trend we've been seeing so far. So as for us, that's going to be it for the night, and it's as quickly as that. Do these wonderful systems over at start.gg. But if you want to find me, I'm Nito and used on just about everything: Twitch, Twitter, and Blue Sky as well. Want to find me there? Shads, where can the people of IPL Splatoon find you?
Okay, on Blue Sky, you can find me at Chads42. You will eventually be able to find me there on Twitter if I remember to actually change my username tonight, so that way my handle is that, assuming it's not taken. I hope it's not taken. Please don't be taken. But more importantly, you can find me on Twitch at IV_Chads, where I finally have a capture card so I can stream low-level Charger gameplay. I know, so everybody always wanted.
So, but as for us, that's going to be it. But for y'all, there's still much more to check out. Don't change the channel just yet. We'll be right back with the quarterfinals of the Great White Bracket.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Swimmer Sync 133. I am Jardonian, and today we are here watching Hades versus SOS Pickup 361, here with...
Jar, look at this. Hades! The furthest south that you can possibly go, presumably, is allegedly. Versus SOS Pickup 361. But you know what? This is kind of interesting because somebody on Hades, aka Adapt, is from the recently disbanded team, I believe recently disbanded Rabid, who was in Division 1. But over on the other side of the bracket over there, of this bracket over there, you can see SOS Pickup has Squidge on their team. And Squidge also has played in some Division 1 pickups / scrimmages. So just based on what I'm seeing so far already, you can assume that there's a lot of skill coming out of both sides here, despite what you might think.
Yeah, both of these teams have some very high-level players. Be interesting match to see coming up here on Scorch Gorge Clam Blitz, truly the map mode of all time. I'm excited to see what we see from these teams here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an aggressive matchup for sure. And I think with having two very aggressive players, one per team on each side, you're going to probably see a lot of firefighting happening in the midsection and probably a lot of ebb and flow back and forth sort of rhythm to battle. One thing to make note of, this is such a bottlenecky situation, right? So when you're going up on that ramp, you have that kind of runway with a little like bump almost in the middle and like a pillow kind of leading up to that clam basket. You could flank from the left-hand side if you're sneaky enough, which I think both teams definitely have the capability, just considering who's on the rosters. So definitely probably some flanks to be had there, but definitely a little bit more difficult to achieve, arguably.
Yeah, definitely. Scorch tends to be a lot more of a lockout-heavy map, and I think, especially with teams of this high skill level, we'll definitely see some pretty heavy lockouts there on that ramp, trying to push up towards that clam basket, just trying to fight up there. So I'll be intrigued to see what these teams end up doing to try and play around this, give them access, push up to that basket through that choke point on the ramp there.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing to make note of, this is another one that's very easy to get locked out on if you're able to push forward all the way past the basket and extend yourself past the basket. So something else to keep in mind, especially when you're coming against a really strong aggressor that you want to be mindful of. But one thing I have noticed too from the members of the previously disbanded Rabid team is that they are very good at handling their clams, like almost kind of like basketball. I get that it's a football, Jar, okay? I know it's a football. I know what you're going to say. But when one of the best things about Clam Blitz is being able to physically take the objective off of you and give it to somebody else. And so the fact that you can throw clams at your teammates to form a ball and or to continue the train of clams that may be going into the basket is really fun to watch and absolutely huge. And I know that Rabid has actually successfully done that in multiple Clam Blitz games that I've seen them play and have advantage over. So is that sort of tactic going to come out here? One might assume. I mean, I certainly hope so because it's extremely entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet so, for sure, from what I've seen. I'm pretty familiar with Adept. He's played a few of my tournaments in the past. I've played with him, and that is the kind of thing he absolutely loves. So I would not be surprised to see Hades here doing these clam chains, clam combos, sneaking up, throwing some clams to each other to form some balls right up by that basket, and just trying to take advantage of being able to pass those clams from one another. They got some movement with the clams, and it's something I personally feel like we don't see enough in this mode, is throwing clams from one another. And I'm intrigued to see if Hades is able to take full advantage of that in this mode.
Yeah, and one might hope that they do, but eventually all good things come to a close here on Scorch Gorge when there is a winner, obviously, as everybody knows. that's an absolute truth. But another thing I want to point out here is, depending on if you have a backline, if you have somebody that's kind of bringing up the rear, being your eyes in the sky in most cases, and especially here, how are they going to utilize the backline taking advantage of the high ground on either side? Especially if you're using an inkjet, for example. There's a lot of high ground to be taken here.
Let's go ahead and find out. We see it Nautilus. That is the Crab Stamper coming out. That's definitely interesting. The ballpoint on both teams. A little something interesting here, Cuber, on that BP. Let's see what they do off lead here. Just pushing forward, trying to get to mid here, obviously, as you do. Teams just painting, trying to get some special, trying to get control of mid here on this initial push, get the clam economy going in their favor.
And looking up at the top, I really enjoy seeing the Dark Tetras coming out for SOS pickup. Definitely super aggressive. And then pairing it with the Stamper as well, that's such a good matchup to have, considering the specials that both have. You have the Reef Slider trying to clear some space, but then you also have the long range coming from the Crab on the Stamper. The initial push is going to be given to Hades, though, but no clams in possession here. No, at least not enough to make a ball quite yet. A little bit delayed on the pop, but the first pop, nonetheless, is going to go to Hades.
Yep, ball is made right now. SOS pickup one. I was calling them SOS pickup. I'm not saying they're full legal Dave every time anymore. I'm sorry, chat. I was going to do it for the people, but they do manage to stop this push here with just a few clams scored. Pretty good. Cooler comes out. They're trying to regain control in mid here. Stand on top of this stack here in mid, just trying to take some slashes, taking that left flank, forcing him to burn Zuka on him all the way over there. Incredible positioning. Dodging around. The slider comes out, gets the pick. They're one down. They're pushing up with that ball here. The ball is scored. But with all three members of 361 on the left here, it's going to be pretty tight for them to get up and try and score some more clams. They do take the lead, however.
I don't know. I think you might have spoken too soon, Jar, because as you can see, being able to jump in there, having at least one jump with the power clam, they were able to get at least one more clam in there, a little bit of follow-up, but with the disconnect happening on Hades, unfortunately, we got to end the battle there and go ahead and reassess. But I liked what I was seeing. I really want to touch on that Stamper Dark Tetra combo. That is just a deadly combo to be going against, and especially considering the debates that have been being had lately about Stamper and how much range and power that it has.
Yeah, Stamper, absolutely incredible main weapon, great range, great power, and the combo of that with Tetra, basically giving it a long-range poking tool in combo with the Tetra, and that Crab Tank, the way it plays off Reef Slider and Tetra itself. They just do a phenomenal job playing with one another and effectively allowing you to take a lot of space and take it quickly. And I really like this duo. I think it's going to work really well for the team, as, I mean, we just saw in that little bit of the first match we got to see.
Yeah, being able to play off of your teammate, for obvious reasons is huge, right? But being able to see it happen so well and just having synergy. Synergy takes so much time to build between your fellow teammates, and being able to see these quick plays and these honestly quick thinking actions happening right in front of you, and also being able to move yourself around other bodies on the field is really incredible. And already just from that initial clam push, and especially finding the man advantage too on Hades, I mean, SOS pickup was in the right place at the right time to really get something going, especially because they had jumps available to get that second power clam in. So, I mean, I feel Hades is probably going to take this information back with them, right? Like, kind of marinate on it for a little bit just while we get resettled back into the game here, and maybe trying to consider, like, what was the opening that they were able to achieve and how can we maybe mitigate that?
Yeah, 100%. Getting that little bit, it's unfortunate the DC happened, but for Hades, it's almost a positive because getting that little bit of an intro game gives them a bit of a feel for the game plan they can be expecting from the other team here. And now that they've seen how they're using their combos of weapons here in order to take space a lot more effectively than they I feel like they were able to, I think they'll definitely be able to use this information and be able to adapt to it now that they have a bit of a feeling of the playstyle that they can be expecting here from SOS Pickup. So I'm intrigued to see what they will do with this new gained information and see if that will change how the game plays out at start here.
Yeah, and it looks like we were having a little bit of a debate here with discussing what happened with the DC, but we will be replaying the match here, just because that disconnection did happen before the score hit the board. So if it had been after, it would have been way too low, but they DC'd a lot earlier. So yeah, okay, awesome. So we are going to be replaying this match. There was a little bit of discussion there, folks, for a second, but nonetheless, all right, SOS Pickup 361, for real this time, Jar, for real this time, against Hades.
Yes, I'm intrigued to see what they do off launch here. Hades now with a little bit smarter to the name, gonna initially trying to push up here, get some clams. I'm intrigued to see if they're going to try and use the squeezer and its wall in order to help stop those pushes, especially on that bridge. I think it could potentially be really strong to help their push. Both teams here in mid fighting for that stack, just trying to get control of mid. Zuka comes out, 2 down on the side of Hades as the Tetra goes down as well.
Okay, 2 members of Hades going down, and once again, 361 has the advantage of getting that first power clam in there. VTX is in a really good position here to be holding the basket, but is called out immediately by Adapt on Hades. And Hades was quick to respond back into the map here as they push the members of Pickup out of their zone. Only a solo pop to the 80, so really, really low margin there to try to break out of. And honestly, it's a good thing because Cuber has got that power clam online already, and they were able to take the top middle stack, which really crucial and detrimental to SOS Pickup because you don't want to be giving your long range you don't want to give them the middle. You just don't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That BP would be great there. Unfortunately, they do go 3 down. It is currently a 2-1 situation with SOS Pickup in the lead. Hades had that clam economy in their favor, but now both teams down to basically no clams, just trying to pick some things up. Regain control of mid here for SOS Pickup. Just painting up mid here, trying to pick some fights, get a few people down. It is currently a 3-2 situation. Squeak with that power clam made up, farming for that cooler. Probably got to throw a cooler on that ramp. There we go. They pick it up, pushing forward, just trying to hold up to basket, and they do throw it up, and they get the score. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. As we see, they get a few more they get a few more clams in here. Slider comes out, and
yeah, using the reef slider like that was huge because 2 members of Hades went to either side to try to spread out and not take any more damage. Gave plenty of time for 361 to come in and get a little bit more follow-up of clams in there. Regardless of having 2 people down, 3 people down, still 1 going into the trade. That is a fantastic lead for SOS Pickup at 49 points. I mean, there's still 3 minutes left to go, Jar. The tides could flip before we even know it, and especially with Hades having 2 specials online.
Yeah, absolutely. The Zuka's on the ready too. Ooh, does get picked with that Zuka. That's potentially going to be massive for SOS Pickup. Just trying to paint up mid here, trying their best to, both teams kind of scrambling right now, trying to regain control, get back on top of that Clam Academy. Squeak with the power clam decides to jump out. Adept pushing forward here, trying to throw that ball. There we go. They do get the initial score, but will they be able to capitalize on it, Steph, as Apple pushes forwards here and gets a pick?
Yeah, I think Adapt taking some of the heat off of there allowed Apple to push forward. There's a lot of follow-up there, and you can see Cuber. This is what I was talking about, Jar. All of those clams being thrown up there, and Adapt immediately capitalizing on it, able to jump in there and get them in the basket as quick as possible. Cuber is just trying their best to hold it down and to maintain the space, and they are able to, as Hades is able to flip the lead in their favor just by 2 points, and the push does not stop there.
Few more clams in, keeping that basket nice and wide open. Zen painting up here, grabbing incredible clam spawn for them, pushing up, just keeping that basket open a little more if they can. At the end, decide to back out and do get picked, but a clean initial push for them that gets them the lead in 1 push. Obviously, right now, SOS Pickup taking control of mid here, just trying to regain some map control, get some more clams, get ready to potentially re-push with that knot with 7 on him. Does get picked, though. We'll have to go ahead and see here, Saf, which team will be able to get that clam economy in their favor and give them the next push here.
Yeah, I think giving them that soft wipe and just leaving 1 player left standing on 361 was huge because Hades is already following up and capitalizing on that man advantage. They're trying to get into the ramp, Adapt doing what they do best, and just sharking below the ledges, especially as a bucket, like while simultaneously building that cooler, right? And there already is a cooler available to them. That was super quick. And Apple, as you can see, is trying to gain a little bit of ground up on that ramp area there, and especially with Zen to follow up with that Trizuka, trying to help them out. But with that reef slider coming in, all of Hades getting wiped out at the same time in a blink of an eye. This is Pickup's time to get that lead taken, and there it goes. That's 1, that's 2, and that's some follow-up to be had, and Stan being able to hold the ground on top there. You can see Hades is trying, scrambling to break back in, but they only need 2 more, and Squeak has them in hand.
That is going to be a great final push there from SOS 361. Phenomenal play at the end there, and just manages to take advantage of that wipeout and absolutely sweep the game out from under Hades' feet. Wow, great game.
I wish we had replays.
Yeah,
I feel like I blinked and it was just like wipeout. Like what? Huh? What do you mean? They had him on the wings. They had him on the wings! Like, what are you talking about?
You blink and you miss it. Man, that was insane final sweep from them right at the end. Knowing to jump that power clam instantly and take full advantage of that wipeout so quick. Immediately pushed with it and took full advantage of it. Good job from SOS Pickup 361. I'm very impressed by their gameplay. I didn't think that they were going to be able to capitalize as well as they have. And that slider, I think, was actually crucial for them in that too. So I'm super impressed by just their general gameplay that match.
Absolutely. And not only that, but I really liked Stan with that crab setup on that top snipe area as they were taking the bunker of Hades, because Hades had no ground to stand on. They were scrambling to get out of their spawn, and it was what they had to do. They had to act. There was no room for them to maybe like hold back a little bit or to try and like build special and clear space. Like, they had to act right then and there and just go and take the fights head on, because there was no time to be wasted, especially because, I mean, just as they had clam spawn in their favor for a moment, Pickup had the same thing happen to them, and they turned the tides really quickly. So they had to just go and act in the moment, and they did their best. But I mean, yeah, that opening for Pickup was huge, and I like that we're going onto the ship. We have our cruise tickets. We're punched in. We're going to Manta Maria on tower control, and no changes other than Cuber going on the pencil.
The pencil comes out. All right. I'm excited to see this map. Adept actually switching off that Tri-Nouveau onto the Tri-Slosher. Nope. Words are hard. Onto that sloshing machine Neo, that's the word I'm looking for. Trying to take advantage of that Zuka. Both teams pushing up mid here, sharking up in that bunker, just trying to get some picks on one another. Squeezer does go down, Stamper as well. Adept just firing off some shots here, trying to get anything done, get some paint on the board, take advantage of that cooler, and trying to coordinate an initial push and get going here.
Yeah, and it's really just a firefight in mid at the moment, too. And Adapt, already so quick to get back into the map, is able to get a nice solid pick, keeping Cuber safe on the tower, with Zen trying to follow up as well, keeping an eye on this left-hand side, which is absolutely what you want to do, because then you'll have people like Stan coming in here with the crab tank, taking out, helping to take out the Zuka, taking out the oncoming threat that was coming in on the platform, and then the tower gets flipped back around into Pickup's favor.
Yep. Stan, as we see here, taking an interesting flank on left, trying to get around and get some people from the back. SOS Pickup trying their best to take advantage of this down they got. With the cooler on tower, just painting, trying desperately to hold tower and get lead here, potentially break through this next check. Adept, though, sitting over there on the right, just trying to desperately fight that tower. Stan, great crab placement, though, forcing him out of the way, trying to clear everyone out of the way of that tower. Can't let him get up close with that crab there, so...
And I liked that they threw the mist on that ramp area there, because that was really huge. That prevented any more forward momentum coming out from Hades from the spawn here. And Squeege just dancing for their dear life on the tower, end up going down to Adapt. But you can see VTX is going to try to jump in, because same thing, they just had to act, and they got it down to the 12 mark. Definitely a really high hill to climb, and especially when that tower really only goes one speed. But you know what? 3 minutes left. Plenty of time to do it, and especially when you have two, not one,
double
but
Zuka.
two
there's three down.
pushing SOS Pickup into a wipeout.
Oh, Hades, with the absolute wipeout here, cooler out, just painting up mid here right now, getting specials built up, absolutely has potential to run this back. All they have to do is be able to break through the second check, and I don't think it'd be that hard for them, to be honest. Cuber painting up here, taking some shots, jumping back and forth. They're all schmoving between tower here, trying to push forward but not die. One down. The Zuka does come out, just painting up. Slider comes out in mid here, trying to retake control here from SOS Pickup as Hades pushes forwards.
Yeah, but Hades, oh my gosh, Hades, the mechanical movement that they are maintaining, once again, forcing Pickup into almost a wipe-out scenario. They gotta have eyes forward on this left-hand side, because this is where Stan has been really doing a lot of damage with that crab tank, but they are taken out before they're able to get set up here. Apple taking the high ground with the Trizuka, and then Zen on the other side with the other Trizuka, forcing another 2-down scenario, make it 3. You have Stan being the only one left alive, trying to hold down this left-hand side, but with Zen and Apple working together, Stan goes down, so the checkpoint and points have now flipped into the favor of Hades! Oh! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Hades. Hades going down to the 7-point mark here. And SOS Pickup is going to have a mountain to climb once again to try to flip the lead back into their favor, just as Hades did before. They took their flag and they just put it a little bit higher on the mountain. Just a little bit, ever so slightly.
Am I back? Hello? I think my microphone broke. I'm so sorry, chat. What's up? Sorry, as I was saying right now, absolutely insane lead from Hades. Just trying to make the most of what they can with the space, trying to keep him staggered. An insane double right now from Adept with that Trizuka. Just trying their best to desperately hold mid and make the most of what they can with what they got. It's just me right now, chat, I think. Oh, Seth, we back?
I live!
We're so back. Ignore... Things are going well here on production side. I don't want to talk about it.
What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking
here.
about, but what I do know right now, Jar, is that Hades is in the lead. There's 8 seconds left to go. Nobody's on the tower. I take it back. Pickup is now on the tower. 4 seconds left to go. They just gotta push them off, but they have no GG specials! There's no GG specials to stop them!
Yep, and just like that, that is going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy, howdy. There is Hades going in and taking us still to match point, but the tides are even. The scores are tied. It's only one game to rule them all to see who moves on, and it's Robo Ramen on Splatoon.
Absolutely. I'm very excited. This is my favorite map mode in the entire game. In my opinion, one of the best in the whole series. Robo Ramen Zones is going to be very fun. I'm excited to see what the teams break out here, see how they mix up the comps. After that intense game, I'm really excited to see how this goes.
It's incredible back and forth. I mean, I like that basically Hades was like, anything you can do, I can do better, and they just took their flag and they put it right above the summit of where 361 was trying to put their flag and stake their claim. So when we go into Splat Zones here, you have to wonder, what is anything really going to change? I can't imagine running the double Zuka is the right move for Splat Zones, but I could be wrong, and I've been wrong many times before.
Yeah, I personally don't see the double Zuka coming back out again. I think we probably see that Tri Nouveau come out. Fizzy is really nice for zone, and I think having that as the cooler option will be nice. Potentially even double cooler if that pencil could be good, especially with how aggro we're seeing both these teams tend to be playing. I think that could potentially, we could see that coming out. On the side of SOS pickup, though, I do believe we will probably be seeing that Tetra's Crab Stamper combo coming out again, because the way they play off of one another is so great, and especially the amount of paint they can output for zones, I think it's just absolutely incredible stuff. I think we'll definitely see that coming out again. What else do you think we could possibly be seeing?
I mean, Nito said it earlier tonight, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And honestly, the Stamper Dark Tetra combo, it ain't broken, so why would you bother? And especially when they have the end zap to give the Tetra so much more space and mobility to work with, I mean,
absolutely.
Why would you fix that? Why would you change it? But I do think on the side of Hades, I really would like to see that Tri Nouveau come back, because I think that being the cooler weapon on Hades is going to be really crucial. But I also think that the pencil pick from Cuber is a great idea, just considering paint output and considering that it's a really good cooler weapon. And also just kind of the amount of poke that pencil can potentially have, especially when you have such an aggressive front line on Hades that can try to like finish the fight. So I also think that pencil would be a good option again.
Well, loading into the match here, let's go ahead and find out Robo Ramen Zones. Let's see what these teams are running. Coming out on the side of SOS Pickup, we see Double Stamper. That's interesting. And, ooh, okay, this is definitely some oh, DC instantly. All right, well, all right.
This game is sponsored by Stamper, because that was a lot of Stamper.
That was a lot of Stamper, like a lot of Stamper. That's crazy. Double Stamper is an interesting call. And if I saw correctly, were those both of the same? Yeah, those are both of the Crab Stampers, which is crazy. A lot of Crab Tank this game that they're going to have to contest with on Hades. I'm intrigued to see how this goes. Looking at their comp, they don't really have a lot besides that double Zuka that's great at fighting Crab. Speaking of which, they do have that double Zuka with the Squeezer. So I'm interested in seeing how this goes.
Yeah, I'm curious to know why Crab Tank is the pick here, because that to me is what the most interesting part. Like, how is Crab Tank advantageous here? Where, I mean, I feel like I could guess the spots that you'd want to set up. I have very little experience on this map, I'll be honest, from commentary side and from play side. So I want to know where the stamp or where the crab is the best placement, and also I've never really seen a stamper, because I don't even think we had a stamper that had Zipcaster on it. We did see that the light tetras, so there is a Zipcaster in play here. And I'm also curious about that. Where does the Zipcaster connect? I mean, surely it's not the giant bowl in the middle of the map, right? Surely not.
Looks like they ended up changing up comps. We now only have one stamper on the team with a shot coming out instead. That makes a lot more sense to me.
All right, well, fair enough. We still got one per team, so we still got Crab Tank present, very much ever present. But we also see that the Tetras are still the light Tetras there. So again, Zipcaster, still a thing that is going to be contended with here. But the initial points are going to be taken by 361 here, as 3 members of Hades go down pretty quickly. It's only been like 30 seconds, and already you can see Hiccup is trying to make their way into the spawning area of Hades. They don't want to give them any ground to try to come out of here, and they really want to just end this as quickly as possible. But I think Hades being able to spread out, and with Zen getting in there and getting a really nice pick, looking in to try to take another one, and pushing Stan out of the way out of Crab Tank there, with Violet taking the space in their Crab Tank. The lead or the control is going to be lost, and we're going to see Hades try to push into mid now.
Yep. Hades right now trying to take advantage of that 3-up. Pencil trying to paint that zone, just throwing as much paint out there as they can to try and stall for the minute. Apple does get picked, unfortunately. SOS pick up 2 down right now, as Hades does finally get that recap. Just painting up here, trying to make the most of it while they can. Zen taking advantage of that Squeezer's insane main weapon, getting a few picks, getting that Trizuka ready. Just keeping an eye on that flank underneath there, trying to make sure that they can't get flanked from bottom. The Zipcaster does come out as they pull out the Zuka here, and let's see if they can make the most of it. Trying to take some shots, does not get a pick, unfortunately. Stan pushes up, hits the direct, taking some pot shots at the crab there, trying to shred it. Does shred the crab effectively. Let's see. The crabs are right next to each other. What is happening?
Yeah, I think Violet barely escaped with their Crab Tank out of there, as they were hit once, but just not hit again. But Stan barely hanging on to life here, as they were able to stay alive twice, and still trying to put on the pressure onto the spawning point of Hades. Finally going down before they're able to do any more damage up on that left-hand side there. Hades going in and trying to get in a trade, almost getting a trade, but ending up successful in the fight. The control now being lost, with Apple using that Trizuka to pair with the Crab to take some space back into mid. And there we go, the zone being flipped now for Hades, as Hades are going to be the ones to try to push forward into the spawning point. And especially with that cooler online, I mean, they're going to be back into the map as quickly as they go out.
Yeah, we see there from that Tetra, the most fun Zipcaster spot in the game. You can Zipcaster onto that bowl up top, and they use that to get a surprise overhead, and effectively allowing them to get back in and even stall that zone, only if just for a minute. We see the Tetra playing around here, Violet pushing up, trying to take advantage of the space that they've created, trying to stall them back in this lower zone here. Stan pops crab right there on top of that wall, as we see. That is the optimal crab spot on this map, since you were asking earlier. Currently, Hades 2 down. Violet with that Stamper, with that crab on the ready, trying to push up and get to a good spot to pop it, probably. Try and get some more paint on the zone, try and stall it a little bit, give them the opportunity to get in here and get a few kills, take advantage, and win.
Yeah, and once again, Violet able to pop their Crab Tank. They're taking a lot of distraction away from their teammate, and Kami coming in here, forcing Violet into the fight, into this pit area, but Violet being the successor. Now having a 2-splat streak as they go down, though, unfortunately, is again Kami quickly back into the map almost as fast as they went out. But now that the penalty is gone for pickup here, only 10 seconds left remaining on the timer. They only have 2 members alive, and even with their cooler online, the NZAP isn't quick to act to give them the cooler. So I mean, now the control is back into Hades' favor, and you have Cuber trying to move up their cooler, now being out. But with 2 members going down, I mean, pickup is going to take full advantage. It's just going to be a back and forth, and who gets the man advantage first at this point.
Yeah, SOS Pickup doing a great job of keeping Hades staggered here, trying their best just to keep control of mid here and not let them get even remotely close. Just trying to keep them at a distance, you know. Ooh, the Zuka comes out, barely gets one, painting up, trying to get the second. They do stall that zone. SOS Pickup holding it, though, not letting him take advantage. That paint's coming out here. They're 2 down, it's 2-3 situation right now. Cuber painting up that zone, Violet painting that zone, and they do manage to get the cap. Hades, they are down, but they are absolutely not out in this scenario, as they continue to absolutely be relentless at retaking this zone.
Yeah, they're doing their best to just allow themselves the space to get the jumps in and to slowly pick off the members of Pickup, because they know that maybe their 1-versus-1 fights aren't as successful, so they know they have to try to force the members of Pickup into 2-versus-1 scenarios. But now with their penalty gone, they just have to play it patient. They have to play it carefully, but also play it patiently, and just keep an eye on the zone there. Maybe prioritize the fights less, but it's hard to do that if you're in a 2-down scenario. It's so hard to do that if you're 2 people down, so SOS Pickup is going to be moving on.
SOS Pickup plays absolutely phenomenally, coordinating well, using those crabs in order to retake zone and maintain control. Does manage to win that game. Congratulations to them, taking a clean 2-1 over Hades there.
Yeah, and Jar, looking over at the bracket now, with Hades being knocked out and SOS Pickup 361 moving forward, you have Project Rack taking a 2-0 over Torrent. So Torrent ultimately getting knocked down on this side of the bracket. So Project Rat is going to be the victor and the next competitor for SOS Pickup 361 moving into the semifinals. But on the other side of bracket, you have Dead taking a 2-1 over Helios. Which earlier we got to see Helios on stream, and they were able to defeat Secret Elixir to punch their ticket into Great White bracket. So Helios making it just a little bit further, but not quite enough into the quarterfinals. Dead going to be moving on and fighting against XOXO, who we've been seeing a lot here on the SOS main stage, which is really fun. And they are once again finding their way into the semifinals, hoping to find a spot into the finals.
Yes, absolutely. XOXO beginning to be a bit of a regular face around these parts. We've seen them time and time again. As we all know at this point, they are a very, very strong team. Would not be surprised to see them in finals. I'm intrigued. I'm not too familiar with Dead myself. I am interested to see how that game will go.
Definitely, I am too. And especially when you have more of a regular like XOXO who's been hanging out for a little bit, that is going to be exciting to watch. And see what they can kind of bring to the table. But who actually, looking at the roster of Dead, who is on this roster? That's what I want to know. Which, by the way, if you folks didn't know, if you folks didn't know, we did move the tournament from Battlefy to Start GG. So if you want to follow along and take a peek at the bracket, if you look up at the top of the chat there, you can see that is the link that you want to click on, and if you want to look and see who is where inside of these brackets. But taking a look here, I mean, both teams have had a really good run tonight, Jar. I mean, Dead and XOXO have been undefeated this evening. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting.
That's pretty exciting. 2 undefeated teams going against each other in semifinals here. I'm very excited to see how this will go. Looking at the teams, I am obviously XOXO. We're very familiar with these people at this point in time. We love them. But Dead, I'm not super familiar with. I recognize a few of these names, and from what I remember, a couple of them are pretty good. But we'll have to see. Considering both teams are undefeated, I imagine it's going to be a close game going on to Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. Saf, how do you feel about this map? Because
good. It's good for and bad for different reasons, which you could say that about like every single map that exists. But I think Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track can be really quickly, and it can also get really scrappy as well. But I appreciate that this map mode gets included in a lot of map lists, because I think that it caters to the off-shooter meta folks. And I think we need to try to maintain more maps that do cater to multiple kinds of weapons and across whatever division or whatever general level of tournament that seems to be running or happening. So I appreciate that this map mode is here, and I think it also is a really nice callback to the folks that maybe grinded Splatoon 2 on their Switch for 2,000 to 7,000 hours and have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this map and to learn all of its nooks and crannies and little things. So I appreciate this map mode combo.
Yeah, I would absolutely have to agree. I think sometimes it can be a little snowbally, but in general, I think the difference in comps that it provides, and the difference that it can often give to teams based on their comps, especially teams that tend to be a little bit lower level and have a harder time flexing from weapon to weapon, I think having it here for that reason is great. And I also think it is very fun to watch. I think the way that oftentimes it can snowball or oftentimes leads to a lot of fights in mid is very entertaining. And I absolutely love watching this map. Playing it's a little different, but we don't have to talk about that. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see going into this match here how this will go.
One other thing that I think is what makes this map so fun is the fact that no matter what side you take to get to that final checkpoint, you are completely bottlenecked in no matter what. It's a very difficult fight to take regardless of what side you go on. There is no easy route to the final checkpoint, which I think can be really fun and exciting, and it really does present a huge challenge for how do you want to move your people around to try to get you to your final destination.
Hang on.
But looking at the weapons here, though, I mean, triple blaster.
Triple range blaster? What is happening? And they get pop on it too. Oh my god. So Dead running the triple range blaster and the one zap trying to get that cooler. They do get pop surprisingly, and they're just fighting here in mid, trying to use that range to poke over those ledges as it does so fantastically. Both teams fighting in mid, trying to get a few kills here. That Stamper over on left there trying to poke, just trying to make the most of the space they can get. The Zuka comes out. Surprisingly, we're 30 seconds in the game. Not a single person has gone down. There we go. Finally, one range blaster goes down. Two go down as we see XOXO here trying to... Cooler comes out, just pushing up that Rainmaker, trying to get that first check. They do get picked, though.
Yeah, I mean, what a fight, though. What a fight to take and to delay a lot of the movement from XOXO. So all of Dead are spawned in. We are, in fact, the Undead spawning in. And actually, they're going to be the first check with lead. That's all I have to say on that matter.
Yeah. Dead does get that first checkpoint, taking advantage of the double wave breaker there, forcing the enemy team to just kind of be annoyed by wave breaker, jump over it. Like, it can be an annoying special. Crab Tank does come out there on the wall, just shooting in mid, trying to retake some space. The cooler comes out as they all get it. Likely trying to take advantage here of the triple range, pushing up, trying to fight up in their face a little bit. Mocha is forced to back up here a little bit, though. Push back to that check, trying to give their team a bit of a line here. Does get picked, though. The triple range comp working surprisingly well as they take shots over that wall here. Let's see, now that they have a little bit more control of mid, if they can take advantage of it and try and maybe get another push going here, get a few more points on the board.
I don't know, with 2 members down, you gotta be careful with having only 2 blasters left. I mean, this end zap for Dead is doing work, my guy. I mean, they are all over the place. They are trying to give some feet and some paint down for these range blasters to move around, and I mean, they're doing something because XOXO now being in a 2-down scenario, the advantage being in Dead's hands to try to pick up this Rainmaker to get the pop as quickly as possible, and especially with no other pedestal standing in the way except the final one, they really just got to be keeping an eye for the other specials from XOXO, especially because Dead's specials are really limited. All you have is that wave, those wave breakers and the cooler, and that is it. So you really got to rely on your mechanics here for this one. But I mean, if you're Dead and you're sitting pretty at the 48 mark with about 2.5 minutes left to spare, I mean, you could just try to hold it. You could just fight.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You're a range blaster. That's what you do best. You can go sit and poke over those ledges and get a few kills. As we see right now, 3 down. They're pushing up a little bit further. Almost get a few more points on the board there. They do unfortunately get picked by that shot. But Dead just doing an absolutely phenomenal job right now of just getting kills and just holding mid, which is a crazy sentence to say out loud considering they're 3 range blasters. They do go down though currently. 2-1 right now. The specials getting ready for XOXO. They got that vac on the ready in case they need it to stop a push potentially. Trying to retake some space in mid here as they try to deal with the absolute AoE menace that is 3 range blasters.
And I also just read something in chat for a moment. It sounds like they've been running this the entire tournament and they are in semifinals.
That's crazy.
So do with that what you will, but finally XOXO trying to make their mark here. The lead is now being flipped as they only get the lead by 1 point with 3 members down. So, I mean, only 1 point. I mean, Dead has already proven us aghast a few times this evening in these last couple of minutes here. So, I mean, if they can pick it up and they can run Wavebreaker and Cooler like this and get something going, I mean, could they flip the lead here with a minute left? I kind of believe it based on what I've been seeing so far.
I mean, yeah, they're all up right now with just a minute left on the board. I believe that they can run this back. All they gotta do is get in and get a few picks, and with 3 range blasters shooting at you, it's not that hard to do that. They do get one. They get the pick on DD here. They're pushing up a little more, taking a few more pot shots. One goes down. They get a second pick. The cooler comes out right by the Rainmaker there, just trying to paint up, trying to get anything going so that they can try and push up and take it by 1 more point, playing for a game of inches right now. Mocha does jump back, probably about to get ready to pop that crab in a defensive spot in order to stall in mid here and stop them from pushing up a little bit further. So the range blaster brigade pushes up around left here, just trying their best to take some space and do what they can.
That would be a great name, Range Blaster Brigade. And it's what they're doing right here, though. But Dusty, not if you want to put. You don't want to go too far forward, especially if that vacuum is there with the bucket to try to follow up here. So XOXO in the similar position, they just got to hold it. But if you're dead, you have to act right now to try to get this pop. But with no other firepower, you can see they were just trying to contest pop at that point. So by 1 point, XOXO takes the first game. But if Dead has been running this Range Blaster comp all evening, how is that going to change the outcome here?
I'm at a loss for words. Like, how getting this far using triple range blaster plus a cooler guy is crazy to me. Going on to next up, crab leg clam here. I think this is also going to be a good map mode for them with all those grates and all those ledges, being able to poke around that with your 3 range blasters. I'll be straight honest, I think they have a pretty good shot of winning this game right here and now.
For sure. For sure. I mean, with having so much uninkable surface and the higher ground, and especially uninkable surface that you can shoot through, no question, it's going to be menacing here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really at a loss for words, man. I don't know what to say. This is absolutely wild. Triple range going this far. I'm impressed. I'm just flat out impressed. This is awesome.
I mean, it's the thing, right? It just goes to show that when you've played this game enough and you just put enough time into a weapon and you find people that you jive with and play really well with, like, you can make things work. You really can, but it's not easy. But it's not easy, and it takes time.
It takes time, and it takes skill, and it takes dedication, and it takes a certain type of player to not, like, be like, this is stupid, why are we doing this? And I respect it. In this game, you really can make anything work if you really desperately want to. So, you know, be more creative, have more fun, I don't know.
You heard it here first from Jar. Be more creative, you posers. Something about this map that I want to point out too, other than the uninkable surfaces, if the range, assuming all range blasters comes back to fruition here, especially if it's been being ran all night, are we going to try to include more range to try to get rid of the range blasters? Do we have to outrange the range blasters? I think that's the only option.
So they were obviously running that V-scope last game. I definitely think they're probably going to stick with a charger because it's just kind of how you beat range blaster. But as the match starts here, I suppose, let's go ahead and find out. Crab leg, capital, clam blitz. Let's see what they do against this triple range. See the Stamper, see the pencil come out. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Got the strikes in order to face them. Oh, they do switch one of the range blasters for a V blaster. Character development. We love to see it. Both teams
Bubble
right now.
Bubble is a good pick. Bubble's a good idea here, for sure.
Bubble's definitely a good idea here. Of course, now with DD on that V-Slasher, I think we will probably see that Bubble instantly get shredded by strikes. So I think that pick inadvertently is going to work out really well for them. But they do get... Oh, they're 3 down right now immediately. As we see XOXO painting up, trying to take mid here. The crab is ready. They have a ball ready. They got some pretty decent clam economy. I think it is probably very imminent that we get a push here unless Dead manages to do something here pretty quick. The crab comes out. Just trying to take advantage and let them get on the plat here.
Yeah, and I like how Mocha popped that crab tank and Mar immediately tried to utilize it and push forward. They didn't have a lot of space or ground to work with those. They had a lot of pressure coming up from that right-hand side from Dat Kid, and as they eventually go down, 2 members of XOXO are now down, so you can see immediately Dead is trying to push forward. They don't really have much control of mid, but they just want to try to keep XOXO at bay for long enough to get some clams in their pockets. And really low economy for them, though. Only 2 and really haven't broken above 5 throughout the entire game until maybe right here. XOXO has been doing a really good job of holding on to clams and making sure that Dead doesn't really have a leg to stand on to get any themselves. But with that kid having this bubble online, this could be really important here if Dead can make the right moves to get close to the basket.
Yes, absolutely. If that kid can push up to this basket right now and pop that bubble right there, all teammates will be able to jump in. You'll be covered. I think this could absolutely be huge. That wave breaker coming out mid. They are 2 down right now. There's a potential for them to get a push going here. They're using that AoE, taking some pot shots. Ooh, the clean pencil pick, though. That was nice. Dang. All right.
Okay. Mar, you got to be looking out for them because, yeah, that was clean.
Yeah, that was crispy.
that was totally clean.
Yeah. Right now we see XOXO just fighting on their plat, trying to regain some control of mid here as the Zuka comes out, trying to just retake space, get a few picks potentially. The clam economy is so heavily in Dead's favor right now. If they were to push up, there's a non-zero chance they could even push and win the game if they were to get in. That kid with the bubble getting ready, potentially going to use this rail here to push up, decides to back off though. They do grab that cooler. The Stamper sitting up there on ledge just being an absolute menace, taking some shots. They're weak. They do get the kill. They're 1 down right now with that bubble on the ready, potentially. They're 2 down right now with the wave shooting onto that plat too. Their bubble comes out right there. They're pushing up. They do get the first score of the game 2 minutes in. They don't have that many clams left on them, unfortunately, though, so we'll see if they're able to capitalize off this as well as they'd like to be able to.
Well, Dusty was able to get 1 in there. Not a lot of space to work with, though, especially when you have DD kind of coming in and you have Mar covering up the ground behind them. So not a lot of follow-up, not ideal for Dead, but finally the first pop being made with literally 3 minutes into the game. I mean, what a slow-moving process this has been. But XOXO is playing this much more cautiously, I would say. They're playing this a lot more carefully. They don't want to overextend themselves. They're trying to be a lot more mindful of where these blasters are going to position and trying to make sure they stay out of range, out of AoE. And also just taking note of like where they are going to try to move and how they're going to utilize the space. So seeing and calling out that there are 3 members up on that plat, Moke is able to take 1, looking to try to take another. Definitely probably has some poking damage there, but still not enough for XOX members to feel confident moving forward. Having 2 power clams, especially with one of them being the pity as well. Look at that arc shot coming out from Kiki. That was amazing.
Clean. Oof, XOXO showing that their members are absolutely crisp with it. DD throwing those strikes. The team grabs the clamps. He does go down, unfortunately. Still just not able to get up on this plat. They just need a little bit of pressure. They are 2 down, unfortunately, on Dead right now, though. So this could be the spacing that they need in order to get this push happening with those 2 power clams left. The crab comes out. They're trying to paint up, just trying desperately. They're 1 down, unfortunately. Still just cannot get up on this plat. Kiki pushes up. Gonna probably pop Zuka here in just a minute on top of those grates. There we go. Taking some pot shots, just trying desperately to get anything to happen, but man, XOXO just cannot get a clean push onto this plat going for the life of them.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of space to work with, especially with how far those blasters can reach. You don't want to risk yourself of any damage. I gotta really appreciate and shout out Dusty here, though. Dusty has been holding down this middle section here. Nobody's really been going to engage in any fights with them, though, and rightfully so, because they don't want to come into contact with these blasters. But XOXO having such a strong foothold on the top grades, they really just need to find the man advantage, and it could be done right here, especially with Trizuka coming out, and Kiki able to break through and break the barrier, and Mar following up at the top.
Just like that, in the last seconds of the game, XOXO does get the lead, the wipeout. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be game. Unfortunately, the Range Blaster Brigade's run ends here. GG's. Dead played phenomenally well, especially with comps like these to get this far. Be proud of yourselves, but XOXO proving that they've become a mainstay here at SOS for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but hold on. Honorable mention to Dead, because moving through an entire tournament playing Range Blaster and considering the other people that have been playing in this tournament, like that is wild, yo. I mean, hats off
that's
to
mad
that.
impressive. Yeah, like that is arguably the most impressive thing I think you could do, besides maybe quad range. All I'm saying, who's going to be the next to do it? But yeah, very, very impressive. Great job to Dead for making an insane run using a comp like that. Just goes to show you how flexible you can be in this game, how you can run things that are a little bit out of pocket, a little bit strange, and still, you know, make the most of it. It is a little bit unfortunate that for Dead that we did not get to go to Game 3 here, because I would imagine that Quad Blaster on tower control would have been as strong as we would have thought. But end of the day, good run for them. Be proud of yourselves. You guys did super well, and great job to XOXO for their victory.
Yeah, and just to make note too, so Dead is going to be moving down into the 3rd place tiebreaker, I believe. So Dead will be in that bracket down below, XOXO moving on to the finals, which they've already done this before. They've been here before. They know the drill. They know what they got to do. But on the other side of bracket, who we saw previously, SOS Pickup 361 versus Project Rat, one of those contenders is going to be into the 3rd place tiebreak against Dead, or they're going to be fighting in the finals against XOXO. We're just waiting for match results to happen. So, looking pretty good here, and especially, Jar, remember too, Dead was undefeated. Dead and XOXO went through this tournament so far undefeated. XOXO still being undefeated, mind you, moving into the finals. But Dead used the Tri-Range Blaster comp, and they were undefeated in their groups. They were undefeated in groups.
Which is crazy. Yeah, going undefeated in groups, running all the way up to here undefeated, like, that's wild, considering we know you had to play Splat Zones to get here. How did you do this? That's so impressive. Like, I'm at a loss for words, man. It's so insane seeing a comp like that go this far. Like, I love it. It's great.
Hard agree. That is really, really cool. But as we said, we're still waiting on some match reports here from Project Rat and from SOS Pickup 361 for who is going to be moving on and who is going to be dropping down into the 3rd place tiebreaker. So until then, we're going to be taking a short break. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Maybe grab a snack. Maybe grab something to drink. Maybe grab a blanket, perhaps. It's a little chilly out there. But don't go anywhere. Swim or sink. We'll be right back with Grand Finals. Hey everybody! Here it is. Grand Finals, Swimmer Sync 133. I'm one of your hosts, Saf. I'm here with Jardonian. Is Jardonian a race? Is that a race of Jar?
Okay, so the Jardonian lore is that I stole my name from a Captain Sparkles video. But probably yes. I believe it is a race of Jar, so, you know.
Always has been. Anyways,
yeah.
Jar, look at this. XOXO versus SOS Pickup 361. Both we have just seen on stream, like, just a little bit ago. Both coming back to stream, ready to rock and roll and party. Both undefeated in groups. Holy smokes. Both, like, swept their groups, went through quarters, went through semifinals, got through all the way to here in the finals. XOXO has, I believe, been in the finals before. Believe it or not, I believe they have won an SOS before. I'm actually pretty sure it was the previous one, no?
Yeah, I think it was the last one or the one before. XOXO, no strangers to grand finals, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we see him again in the future as we keep going here. I expect them to do phenomenally well here, but SOS Pickup, they did surprise us in our last game we watched, so going on to Mahi Mahi zones here, I would not be surprised to see them surprise us again.
Yes, and just to recap maybe some weapons, some comps that we saw previously, folks. So, remember, Mar, a huge pencil player, very skilled pencil player in terms of getting tap shots, in terms of inking, very good painting player. But you also have Mocha, who's a very good stamper player. How are they going to fare against Stan in their crab placement? Because Stan has been having some fire crab tank placements throughout the entire evening. But you also have Squeege over on SOS Pickup. Squeege being another contender and someone that is really hard to stand a fight with if you're not able to go into a 1v1 fight with someone that is a veteran at 1v1 fighting. So definitely a good matchup going on here between these folks. And I'm now correct me if I'm wrong, Jar, but I'm pretty sure XOXO started as a pickup and now they're just kind of vibing. Yes.
I'm not 100% certain, but I'm like 94% certain that they did just start as a pickup and they just they clicked really well. So they said, you know what, let's just take it all the way. So now they are a full team. And as we have seen from them, they are a full team who is absolutely killing it. Up-and-coming top-level team to be seen, I would say. So I'm very excited to see where they go and where they keep going.
Yeah, I definitely think XOXO is on the rise with what they've been cooking with. But looking at this here is your Grand Finals map list, folks. We're starting with Splat Zones, and on the other end of this sandwich, we're ending with Splat Zones. But Mahi Mahi Resort, we're taking a vacation. We've already checked into our rooms. I mean, I have a jacuzzi tub in my room. I don't know about you, Jar. I feel that this is pretty luxurious. I even actually had an elephant towel figure on my bed waiting for me as I checked in and walked into my room. So feeling pretty good here on Mahi Mahi Spot Zones, I think. But composition-wise, holding on to those crab tanks. I think having crab tank here is really fun and kind of diverse, if you will. Of unique. In general to have here, but I also think with having that pencil, having Mar on that pencil, that is really what you got to be watching out for, especially just because they have such a sharp eye. They have such a sharp eye, and they're really good at trying to go in and take people out with whether it's poking damage or finishing the fight themselves. So you got to be watching out for the range that's going to be coming out from Mar here as well, especially because the mid section is so open. There is some high ground to be taken, sure. You can kind of get up high, you can get comfortable, you can maybe scope the scene out a little bit. But once you're down into the tough and dirty of it all in the zone, I mean, it can be really scrappy and kind of scary.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other side, though, I think SOS Pickup is going to do really well with those Dark Tetras and getting to use that lovely slider cheese that is oh so easy on that map with the middle pull. But game starts here. We'll find out here in just a moment what the teams decide to run and how that will play out.
Oh, I like Kiki's title, The Storm. Wild Bug? Oh, that's funny.
Ooh, interesting. We see the light tetras come out this game. We seem to see a bit of a preference from SOS Pickup with Kami tending to run those light tetras on zones over the dark tetras, which is interesting to me. Both teams just doing that initial push in mid here, bomb spamming that zone, just trying desperately to get the initial cap here. It does end up going to SOS pickup, but they do end up with a member down on the trade-off for that. Cooler comes out, Zuka comes out, trying to get a few more picks. Do just barely miss them though. Let's see how are they able to take advantage of this initial cap and see if they're able to make the most of it.
I really liked Kiki taking that fight on the left-hand side there. They were able to get a little bit of poking damage. They kind of lured them out to force them into the trade. Although SOS Pickup lost the zone very briefly, they were able to pick it back up and actually take the lead as well. You can see Stan trying to jump into a good position here. One of their pals was able to get them on the jump up there, allowing them to get the crab tank set up on that top part. Oh, but barely just getting stuck on the environment at the top. Now Mocha following up with a crab of their own for XOXO, and the zone now flipped into their favor with the cooler coming out as well. So XOXO in a really good position here to hold tight.
Yeah, absolutely. XOXO, they do get the cap. The water level does drop here, so now we're in the version of the stage that's good. They are 2 down. The crab comes out in a pretty unfortunate spot, I would say, for SOS Pickup. Oh, 2 down for XOXO though. They're just it's a dogfight in mid right now. They're trying to get as more picks over the other, trying to get that zone, just get control, absolutely anything. Zuka comes out, taking a few pot shots, seeing if they can hit anything, arc over those walls, shoot for the zone, try and get something. Nothing doesn't, but coming for it though. Stan Shark in that wall, gets up front, does get the pick on Kiki. It's a trade though. Currently 1-1, both teams. DD pushing forward here, trying to use that Slosher's paint, the bomb, the strikes, just trying to do something, get something going in order to get this zone, as that timer slowly ticks down in SOS Pickup's favor.
Yep, I mean, it just seems like XOXO has to prioritize fights right now because this is their time that they have to act, because 17 seconds is not a lot of time, especially when you have Stan on your heels, taking out your bucket, going in the trade with your shot. I mean, 361 has got this in the bag, baby. There's not enough time. You like, if you just focus too heavily on your fights, if you have to focus too heavily on your fights, you just can't get into the objective. So how is XOXO going to combat this? Because SOS Pickup is so quick to move in on the lockout.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've seen from their previous sets, they're so quick, they're so aggressive, and they're so good at taking those fights and consistently winning them in a way. Even if they don't necessarily win, they force people to move in a spot that is advantageous for their team. It allows them to push the objective more, to hold that zone, to, you know, move the tower, whatever. So I think that for XOXO to get the run back here, they're going to have to play in a way that doesn't allow them to get split like that and allows them to effectively win fights in a way that, like, actually matters.
Which they're more than capable of doing, right? I mean, both of these teams have been undefeated all night. Like, they're more than capable of doing that and trying to bounce back from a sticky situation. We're going back to Scorch Gorge. We're playing Rainmaker this time. You do have some objectives in the way here. You can't just run straight at the basket like normal. You can't just run immediately with the objective, like in Splatoon 2 Rainmaker, like in Clam Bits, where you just want to throw as many clams in as possible. So you got this. You have to be a little bit more patient. But I think it's XOXO. I think is going to try to bring in some of that energy that Dead was bringing to them in that semifinals game. They got to play it patiently. They can't rush this.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to take some of their time like they did in the previous match we saw, previous sets we saw, I should say. They're going to have to play a little bit slower, play a little bit more cautiously in order to stop that Rainmaker, try and make sure that it can't get any solid pushes, and they're going to have to play slowly with their own pushes in order to make sure that they don't get absolutely swamped and end up getting wiped out or staggered in a way that they can't really push the Rainmaker further. The other thing I think they should definitely be cautious of, as we saw earlier, SOS Pickup loves to use that left flank on Gorge, which is typically, you don't see it played a whole lot for some reason, strange to me. So I think XOXO is going to have to be very cautious of that and make sure that they don't get pincered on that flank. So I'd be interested to see how this match plays out and if they're able to effectively get the tempo in their favor and play this game a little bit slower in a way that allows them to win.
Yeah, and I think XOXO is good at watching out for the flank as well, though, because as soon as Stan was getting set up on that right-hand side, I mean, Stan did take one, but then took Kiki out in the trade, but the call-out was made there for XOXO. Like, even if it took 2 of them, the call-out was made, so it's one of those things, like, you have to internalize it really quick. Look at all this comeback. It's all comeback and stealth jump these days.
Comeback. Yeah, all I'm saying, fair and balanced ability. Both teams here are pushing up. It looks like SOS Pickup does get the initial pop on that Rainmaker. Cooler comes out. They are 1 down though immediately. That sniper playing super well and getting the initial pick. They're 2 down. Stan up here trying to take some fights. He does get 1, but he gets picked himself. They're currently staggered pretty badly. Squeak dies with that Rainmaker. The jump in does get the kill, surprisingly. And it's just a dogfight in mid right now as both teams try desperately to really get control over one another and really get a good push going.
I really enjoy Mar being on this splatter scope because having the vacuum in favor here, especially trying to fight against Crab Tank and Zuka, I think is going to be really fun and useful here. But I do think it's interesting that you have the Zipcaster. So really trying to bank on a lot of distraction tactic for pickup 361. And trying to really utilize maybe like a quick, really quick picks as well with trying to zoom around here. But from my perspective, Kami looks like they're trying to be a distraction. They are able to pick off the Stamper, but they do go down in a trading process themselves. And look at this fight just happening over on the right-hand side there. Oh my gosh. Just all this quick mechanical movement, just reacting to so much around you. But eventually Pickup is going to be the successful one in that banter, getting a second pop and taking the first checkpoint. I mean, it is all uphill from here if they're able to play it right.
Yeah, absolutely. With the delayed wipeout here, the Crab is, they do have the Crab set up. They're trying desperately to burn it. SOS Pickup pushing hard forward.
Oh,
Stan!
Stan!
Rolls to get a few more clean. He's nice with it, dang. Those few squid rolls allow him to get a few more points on the board. It's currently 14 XOXO. They get a few more. What, just running at this Rainmaker. XOXO is going to have to get this thing out of here. Desperately. Squid pushes up. He gets a few more. All right. SOS Pickup just absolutely throwing themselves at this Rainmaker, pushing it all the way up to 4 points in an incredible show of just, let's just throw ourselves at it, it'll work. XOX Pickup here, trying to take advantage of those downs they got, trying to retake mid. VTX unfortunately not able to get anything going there as XOX Pickup retakes middle here, the Rainmaker resets to mid, and they potentially try to use the second half of the game here to try and get a push going and try and potentially do something. Yeah.
I appreciate our spec cam trying to locate that last player in that push there on XOX. That was pretty, or excuse me, on SOS Pickup. That was pretty fun. Firefight again happening down in mid. You can see Stan able to get a really nice double pick with the trade. Mocha trying to go in for the fight, but Kami going to opt to help to finish too. And here comes the distractionary thing I was talking about, Jar. They're going to try to fly in here with the help of some mist. That was a very good assist pick there to try to get Squeege some space to move forward and push this Rainmaker once again. But it looks like to me that they might just hold it here. They might just hold on to it here.
Absolutely. With 4 points left on the board, I'd be willing to bet, based on his positioning and the way the team is playing, just trying to hold them back and spawn while the Rainmaker sits back. They're most likely, 3 down is going to be tough for Squeege to hold here, but they're most likely just going to try and stall this Rainmaker out in this little corner and make sure that XOXO cannot push forward with it, because, I mean, it doesn't get much better than 4. Sometimes it's got to take what you can get.
So much time has passed and Squeege is still here, but I think it's because the members of Pickup are pushing forward to try and take fights. They were taking fights with them, so Squeege was just in no man's land for the longest time. Finally going in for the reset, but still, XOXO is 2 members down, now in a 2v2 scenario here. But Kiki does have that vacuum online. They do have mid advantage here. They could take this opportunity to push it a little bit forward and potentially get all the way, but they gotta be watching out for who is gonna be sharking below, because if it's gonna work over there, it can also work over here.
Yeah, absolutely. They push up, try to go up to this check. Unfortunately, they're just barely not able to break it. Trying to use that miss, trying to use the Crab, doing anything they possibly can right now to try and get the opening. And they do manage to sneak through and get it. Mocha jumps back out. Absolutely insane, breaking through that first check. 30 seconds left on the board, though. Squeege grabs that Rainmaker, and I have a gut feeling we are going back to the trenches in order to sit here and stall this Rainmaker for the last 20 seconds of the game. They do get the pick on Squeege, though. There is a chance still that XOXO can pop this Rain right now and run this back. With the Crab out, the Zuka on the ready, the Vac on the ready. If the team coordinates this well. Oh, they get another one. Oh, they do grab it, though. They're going to have to pop quick here. They do get the pop. They can grab this and potentially push. The Cooler comes out. The Zuka on the ready. Probably about to come out, as we're about to see. They have the Rainmaker pushing forward. Mar holding that. Just trying desperately to get this push up here, get a few picks, and allow them to get these last few points. But it's going to be tricky pushing through this absolute wall of team that's SOS Pickup. Crab Tank comes out, taking some pot shots, just trying their best to stop this Rainmaker and make sure that they cannot win this game in overtime.
Oh!
Oh! Yeah, just like that. SOS Pickup, they stay undefeated. One more game left for them to win the whole thing as they do beat XOXO.
Okay,
Wow.
okay, but there's a lot to unpack from this game right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, the mechanics that Mar had holding on to that Rainmaker, just kind of dancing around that pillow, the onslaught coming from SOS Pickup in those last few seconds there. I mean, overtime lasted a little long. I mean, sure, they were stalled there for a little bit, but when you're in overtime, those seconds just feel like, they feel like 10 minutes each, like 10 minutes apiece. Like, it gets so long. Like, this isn't a Valorant game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a really quick and simple game, but it feels like forever. So, XOXO was able to almost follow up and come back from that. They had a really good like pep in their step. They got really, really good positioning to try to push that Rainmaker forward. But like, and they survived for such a long time. They were in the crossfire. They survived with the Rainmaker in their hands for so long. So it's like, oh, I want XOX to give us a game 5. I just want a game 5. In conclusion.
With two teams of this skill level, it's not out of XOXO's power right now to run this back and take us all the way to game 5. It will take a little bit of careful coordination from them for sure. They'll have to work on making sure they don't get rushed down as much as they have in these previous 2 games, but they can absolutely run this back, especially with such skilled players on their team, and I would love to see it.
Yeah, I can't get over that. Like, sure, SOS Pickup takes full advantage of, like, when they have a man advantage, they run in and they are able to, like, keep people walled in and just box them in back into the spawn and not let them out. But XOXO is such a good contender for them because of how quickly they're able to bounce back, even if they can't quite get to the points. But they're able to come back so strong and get so much momentum going before they ultimately get taken down. And I just really want to see them like win this one. I want to see them go to game 5. Like,
I want to see them get the run back. Yeah. This has been such a great set so far. I'm very excited to see what happens next here on Clam Blitz Manta Maria. This is a map mode that should not be too uncommon for those of you who watch competitive Splatoon, and I'm interested to see how XOXO will be able to capitalize on this map, especially with their Slosher player and all these lovely ledges that he can be able to poke around to get some picks on and get a little bit of paint everywhere. So I'm excited to see how they'll play around this.
I agree with you. This is a really good pick for that. I want to know if we're going to see that Nautilus come back out from BTX. We did see them play that last time. We were on Manta Maria, and I think it's a good option. But we're actually going to be playing the shot here, which I think is interesting. And the Octobrush. So we did have a switch out. We had a switch out for XOXO, and we're switching in Mox here. And they're actually, they're using the Octobrush Nouveau, which is interesting. I like the choice of Rain here. I feel like Rain on here is so underrated.
Yeah, Manta is inherently a very linear map, and I think a lot of people tend to not see that when they look at it because it does have flank routes available. Rain is very strong in a map like this because it'll just move forward and hold a lot of space and take a lot of space. It's almost like having a 5th player at times. But as we see here, initial dogfights break out in mid. It is currently 2-2 right now. It's, a full wipe on XOXO as SOS Pickup tries to get some clams. Stan rushing forward with that power clam, just trying to make something work here. Oof. The Crab does come out, gets the pick. The Zuka on top, though. He's just painting up. He gets the Zuka. He does get shredded. He's able to jump in and grab this ball, though, pushing forward. Does get picked there by Mar on that insane pencil right there. Just absolutely, the strikes come out, just painting over here in this trench, fighting for their life. XOXO making sure that power clam is not going to touch their basket.
See, what did I say? What was I just saying? They bounce back. Like, that was a wipeout scenario from SOS Pickup, and XOXO came back so strong. They popped Cooler right away, were able to get back in. Jumps were so quick, and they blocked Stan out twice. I mean, so XOXO can do it, and they just did it right here. They prevented another pop. You can see Stan is trying to follow up, but not with Kiki there. Not with Kiki there and chasing VTX out of the street area. You do not want them getting set up there. You do not want them trying to call any more jumps. I mean, XOXO can really bounce back from a really critical situation, and they just did it twice.
Absolutely. Such an insane first few minutes of this game here. XOXO fighting for their life, but making sure that there will be no footballs touching their basket. And they are succeeding absolutely here. We see Stan pushing up, getting a pick, trying desperately to get SOS pick up on their third ball now, trying to push in. Does get picked with that ball, though. It's currently a 2-4 situation. They do have the Zipcaster, though, as XOXO builds up their first football of the game, potentially trying to take advantage here of this man down, try and get a push. Obviously, we see Kami out here with a Zipcaster, just painting up, trying desperately to get some picks. Both teams fighting for their life, trying to get a good initial push started here.
The economy is on XOXO's side here, and especially with Tri-Strikes online, they want to try to get into this basket area so badly, and they're working on it right now. Tri-Strikes have been popped. There's a 2-down scenario. The this way coming out from Didi. This is the moment. XOXO needs to act here to try to get these power clims in, but if you're SOS pickup, you're quick to act as well, and you're quick to get back in, because look at these jumps already taking back the street area and forcing XOXO into a 3-down scenario. Both teams have had phenomenal pushes in the first 3 minutes of this game, and nobody has popped yet because the defense is also as strong as the offense here.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams showing both their offensive and defensive prowesses, being 3 minutes into this game, and neither team having a point on the board with multiple balls being made and lost. XOXO right now fighting up in their bunker, just trying to get a few picks. Getting pushed around behind, though, getting kind of pincered in a little bit. They do manage to get out of it, though. 2 down for SOS pickup right now. VTX sharking on this wall. He jumps up, does not manage to get a pick from it. Pops Zuka, gets one. Trying to get another. The brush does come up and stop him, though. Currently a 2-0 situation as XOX pushes up here. That brush setting up Beacons, probably about to pop that rain and allow him to push this basket a little bit more. The Zuka on the ready, too, as they push up with this ball. 2 balls, 7. Oh, just the clam economy absolutely on XOXO's side right now, as they try their best to make something work. Mox up here by this basket, just barely not able to get close enough for a jump to get in, as they're currently 3 down, and man, SOS pickup showing that neither team is going to let a football touch their basket, as they fight for their life right now with just a minute left on the clock.
Exactly, because Kiki was out of there. Kiki was out of there, dude. She was out of there like a bat out of hell. They threw that clam back on the ground. They were like, nope, I'm out of here, as soon as all of their teammates were gone. I mean, both of these teams are playing to the nines here. Like they're both fighting so hard right now, and you can see Kami now coming out of the spawn. Mox trying to push forward and prevent a little bit of distraction and fight. But SOS pickup finally, with 33 seconds left on the clock, are finally going to make a pop with some follow-up. But Kami's still here. Kami's still here taking a lot of distraction from Mar, but no jumps coming in. But Kami's going to be here to stay. They are ready if they want someone to jump to them, but not before they finally get taken out by Mox coming back in.
Yeah, XOXO unfortunately does get scored on here, but with just a few clams scored in that basket, if they can get a power clam built up real quick before the game's here, it would not be impossible for them to run this back, considering how low it is. They have that pity clam. It is 2 up, unfortunately. It's only 2 down. Oof. This is going to be a tight situation. XOXO still has a chance to run this back. They just need a few clams in this basket, but they're going to have to work fast in order to take advantage of this overtime they've been given through their pity clam.
Yeah, and already DD got taken out, but there is juice on the field, so Mar is alive, and they're able to break in, though! There's a beacon to jump to, and they just need a few for follow-up! And XOXO is it! Oh!
They take it back in a clean overtime victory. Mar with that clean jump, the beacon, scoring those last few clams they needed. Absolutely incredible gameplay we see from XOXO, showing how just because it's down does not mean it's out. Don't give up.
I just jumped straight out of my chair, like airtime, airbud, dude. Like, that was amazing.
Absolutely insane clutch from XOXO. As we move on to Game 4 here, Tower Control Hagglefish. They are down, but they are not out, and I would say your wish may become a reality here, Saf, as we move towards Hagglefish Market Game 4 and potentially that Game 5.
Okay, I mean, was it switching in Mox? Was it the Octobrush? Was it... I mean, was it the insane amount of defense that came out? Like, what changed? Because that was awesome. Was it because they won SOS last time? Like, what?
It was the ghost of SOS past forcing them to win again, as they come in to try and hit the clean sweep back-to-back SOS victories. Oh boy, that was insane. That was a great run back. Shout outs to all the XOXOs in chats. Can we get some XOXOs in chats for that? Because man, That was sick. They killed it in that overtime dub.
Okay, listen though. It's coming down to tower control on Hagglefish Market, alright? You want to talk about a linear map. You want to talk about something that's just straight.
You want to talk about the linear map.
The linear map of all time. It is this one right here. And coming down on this one, again, you have SOS Pickup, who is so insanely good at flanks, but you have XOXO, who is so good at calling out those flanks and recovering from a really sticky situation. I mean, they came back from a 3-down scenario twice. Yeah. 3 times, actually, pretty sure, because Kiki got the heck out of there earlier in the game. So,
they were zooming. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so you have really good risk assessment coming out from XOXO because they know the type of aggression that SOS Pickup is working with. They know what to expect. So they're able to get out of there and able to really capitalize on getting out of there when it's applicable. But when you have a map like this, where the flanking can be really heavy, there's only so much space you can use and only so many places to go before you have to jump into the water and abandon the platform, whatever the heck cargo ship thing that we're out in the middle of the water here, I don't know. These guys can't swim and they're out on a stage in the middle of water, come on, man. But anyway, round number 3, we are still at match point if you are SOS Pickup here, but XOXO is still in it, and I see that we changed a couple things here.
Yeah, absolutely. Mox switching onto that vanilla Octobrush, which is a bit of a unique pick. We tend to not see that a lot, which is definitely very interesting. We tend to see, you see the other one, because Beacons and Rain feel a lot stronger oftentimes, but I'm excited to see what they're able to do with it, especially as we see them initially jump out, get a clean pick here. It is 3 down on SOS Pickup, as XOXO potentially has the ability. They grab this tower, get an initial push going. Mar on that tower, taking some pot shots, painting, just trying to optimize off this initial lead that they got here. The Zuka comes out, the Zipcaster on the tower too. Mar still hanging on the edge of that tower for dear life. They do finally go down, but they fought for their life on that tower, and I respect it.
They sat on the wall. They just kept climbing up the wall of the tower to try to hold it there. I mean, that's why the checkpoint was taking so long. I was like looking at my watch for a minute here. I was like, what's going on? But it's because they were just trying to just hold on for dear life and just wait out that Trizuka. And I mean, they were successful at doing it ultimately, but SOS Pickup is finally going to get their names on the board here. They want to get some points, making their way down to checkpoint number 1 here with VTX and Squeech holding down the tower. You also have Stan whipping out that crab tank. The lead now being flipped because XOXO, with 3 people down and being forced to and pushed back into the spawn, this is exactly the type of situation that you don't want to put SOS Pickup in.
Yeah, SOS Pickup trying desperately. The Zuka comes out. They get a few more. Just trying to get as many points to the board as they can. Just under 20 seconds left on that tower right now. The timer's ticking down. XOX is going to have to do something really fast. They're taking some shots. They do get 1 down. The crab gets another pick, though, unfortunately, as they jump back on tower. They break through this final check. Just a few seconds left on the clock, but they are stalling it. 3, 2, 1, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, SOS Pickup 361 is going to be your SOS 133 champion. Good games, man. Good games. Good set.
That last game was my favorite one I've seen all year. I know it's been 3 days, okay? Pipe down. But listen.
Hey, you know what?
For me, that was the game of the evening. That was the game of the evening, that last one. Because, I mean, what the heck?
That was such an insane game. It was so incredible. Both these teams proving that they are absolutely incredible, and both of them are made up of players that you should absolutely be keeping a lookout for. I'd like to give a particular shout out to Mar for just being absolutely nasty with it. Getting some insane kills, some great flicks, some great positioning, and generally showing that, yeah, Pencil man, that weapon is insane.
Yeah, that was fabulous. Congratulations to XOXO, though, for making it into the top 3, because that is still a really amazing feat, and you had a really good opponent to try to combat with here this evening, so good on you for trying to stand your ground. This was a really fun set to commentate on. Unfortunately, Jar, my bracket is not working on Start GG, so I'm not sure what is to become of the 3rd place match that we were going to see, which I believe was Dead and Project Rat was our 3rd place match. So I'm not sure what's going down
working
over
for
there.
Me. They are playing it right now. Oh, it looks like it has been played. It is 3-1 in Project Rat's favor, so they have placed 3rd, Dead on 4th. Rest in peace, the Range Brigade. Shoutouts to my goats. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, fabulous. I love... Man, this was such a great SOS. This was so good.
For sure. And you know, with that, speaking of SOS, Jar, I feel like I come around these parts, but I'm not sure where I can find you. Can you tell me about your socials and where I can find you at?
Yes, I'm Jardonian. You guys subscribe to me on YouTube or follow me on Twitter at Jardonian, YouTube at Jardonian. Yeah. Thanks to everyone for coming out, Seth. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Taffyrea. That's 2 P's, 2 A's on Twitter. It's right below on the screen there in case you needed to look at the spelling if words aren't enough. You could also find me on B-Sky, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know how that app works. You could also find me roaming the rivers and looking for mushrooms. And I'm actually making some stuff out of turkey tail, which is really cool for all my mushroom people out there. So you can find me just hanging out with fungi and whatnot on the ground and having my back bent in weird angles. But you know what? SOS 133, we did it. We did it. SOS Pickup 361. Cheers to you. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And also shout out to our streamer, Pipe Dream DX. You can find them on all socials and platforms at Pipe Dream DX. Shouts out to them for always doing some cool stuff on SOS here. But thank you all so much for being here. And we hope you have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.